A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Alan Young Show. Featuring our singing star, Diane Courtney, the music of Peter Van Steeden, and starring Alan Young.
Well, let's get started with the program. First, I want to have a whole bunch of... Come in, if you're funny.
Mr. Young, I'm Leonard T. Holton of the Ajax Phonograph Record Company. Since this is your first broadcast of your new series, perhaps you'd like to have a phonograph record made of it.
Oh, do you make phonograph records of radio broadcasts?
Why, certainly.
Huh.
We've made phonograph records for some of the biggest, 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 some of the
Mr.
biggest, some of the
Holton.
biggest.
Wait a second. Your Adam's apple is caught in your dicky. Now, start again and take it easy.
Well, as I was saying, we've made phonograph records for some of the greatest radio stars, like Kate Smith, Bob Hope, Burns and Allen, Dinah Shore, Charlie McCarthy, Lowell Thomas, Eddie Cantor, H.V. Calvin.
Wait a second. Let me wind you up here.
Ray C. Allen, Ed Gardner, Lawrence Tippett, Ed Wynn, and hundreds of other famous radio stars. Why, we've made records of ow, ow, ow!
Mr. Holton, what happened?
The needle reached the end. Good day, Mr. Young.
That guy's whole family's been in the phonograph business. When he was a baby, his mother bought him an automatic changer. But, now to get back to my program, the first thing I want to do is get a... Come in.
Hello, Mr. Young. I'm so glad to see you. I am.
Well, sit down. I think I know you. I've seen your picture someplace.
Really? Where?
On a bottle of iodine.
Oh, Mr. Young, you're so droll. You are.
Gee, I like the way you talk. One early show and 2 repeats for the West Coast. What's your name again?
Harriett Hatch.
Harriett Hatch, from the booby of the same name.
No, Mr. Young. I have my own little program on this network. Harriett Hatch and her Newsy Nuggets for Happy Housewives.
Oh, that's a great program. I understand that over 50% of your listeners are people.
Yes. Yes, it's a lovely program, dear boy. And it's sponsored by the makers of Mother Magruder's chocolate-covered meatballs.
Oh, yeah, I know Mother Magruder's chocolate-covered meatballs. They're delicious. They melt right in your pocket.
But that isn't all. Lots of foods contain iron. But these are the only meatballs that contain stainless steel. Here, try one, won't you?
No, thanks.
Oh, I insist.
Oh, all right.
Fine. Just pop it into your mouth. That's it. Now swallow it.
Gee, if they did all my ribs, my eyes would light up. Now, Miss Hatch, if you'll excuse me, I have to do a few things.
Mr. Young, I want you to do a guest appearance on my program.
Huh?
I promised my listeners that I'd bring them your life story.
Oh, my life hasn't been very interesting.
Oh, yes, it has. I already know a few things about you. For instance, do you listeners know that today is Alan Young's birthday?
Wait a minute, Miss Hatch. Today isn't my birthday.
I know.
Well, then why do you say it is?
I love to hear applause. And now I'll run out and get a pad and pencil, and then you must tell me everything about yourself. You must.
Oh, Kenny, what did I let myself in for? That woman's going to take up the rest of the program interviewing me.
Oh, she can't, Alan. She can't. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's our charming singing star, Diane Courtney, to sing for us the Trolley Song.
With my high starched collar and my high top shoes and my hair piled high upon my head, I went to lose a jolly hour on the the trolley and lost my heart instead. With his light brown derby and his bright green tie, he was quite the handsomest of men. I started to yell, so I counted to 10. Then I counted to 10 again. Clang, clang, clang went the trolley. Ding, ding, ding went the bell. Zing, zing, zing went my heartstrings. For the moment I saw him I fell. Chug, chug, chug went the motor. Bump, bump, bump went the brake. Thump, thump, thump went my heartstrings. When he smiled, I could feel the car shake. He tipped his hat and took a seat. He said he hoped he hadn't stepped upon my feet. He asked my name, I held my breath. I couldn't speak because he scared me half to death. Buzz, buzz, buzz went the buzzer. Plop, plop, plop went the wheel. Stop, stop, stop went my heartstrings. As he started to leave, I took hold of his sleeve with my hand, and as if it were planned, he stayed on with me, and it was grand just to stand with his hand holding mine to the end of the
That was fine, Diane. You're a wonderful singer. And I want you to feel that from now on, you're one of the family on our show.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Alan.
Oh, not at all. And by the way, I guess you'll never dream that while you were out here singing, I'd fill your dressing room full of orchids and gardenias. Well...
Yes?
I didn't. Now, if there's anything else I can do for you, I'll be pleased.
Young, are you ready to tell me your life story?
Oh, it's you, Miss Hatch. I thought you went out to have your bustle retreaded. Now, where should I begin my life story? At the beginning, I guess. Well, I was born in 1920, the year of the Great Depression.
There was no depression in 1920.
There was in my house. When they saw me, everybody was depressed. But to continue, not many people know this, but I have a twin sister. She's 8 years older than I am.
Well, Mr. Young, how could she be 8 years older than you are?
She forced herself. But to return to my childhood, we were very poor in those days, Miss Hatch. I remember my father would stand by the furnace hour after hour, blowing cigar smoke up the chimney to make the neighbors think we had coal. Oh, my father. I'll never forget the day he called me into his room and said to me,
"Hello, son."
Hello, Dad. I always called him Dad as a mark of respect. After all, he was old enough to be my father. What is it, Dad?
Son, I want to have a little chat with you, man to man. How old are you, son?
17.
17. My. When I was your age, I was 20.
Well, Miss Hatch, obviously there was nothing left for me to do but leave home. So I packed my shirt, my tie, and my 300 Tommy Dorsey records, and I went out into the world. It was then that I met Bertha.
A girl?
How many boys do you know named Bertha? What a girl she was. Tall and willowy. Willowy. She had skin like the bark of a tree. Oh, I loved Bertha, even though she had a broken nose by a previous marriage. But our romance soon came to an end.
Oh, Mr. Young, that's a sad story. My heart goes out to you.
Ah, put it back! Oh, I see. Oh, I'm sorry. But life wasn't all sadness and tears, Miss Hatch. One day, a bright note crept in. That was it. I was 23 years old. Time for my first pair of long pants. And do you know where I bought them?
Where?
I put on my beanie and my bobby socks and hurried right down to Greenbracker's department store. Oh, Mr. Greenbracker. Mr. Greenbracker.
Oh, here I am. You would have to walk in now.
Were you doing something important, Mr. Greenbracker?
Yes, and I was in the back of the store taping up an old bat.
You were?
Yes, my wife's always spraining her ankle. What do you want?
Well, Mr. Greenbracker, I'm 23 years old today, and I'm going to buy something that'll change the whole course of my life. Guess what?
A new ribbon for your midi blouse?
Don't be silly, Mr. Greenbracker. I don't wear a midi blouse. I'm a man.
Don't say that so loud. You'll discourage the rest of our sex. Now, do you want to buy something, or can I go back and finish ironing my snuggies?
I'm going to buy something, Mr. Greenbracker. Today I'm going to buy my first pair of long pants.
Goody. The next thing you know, you'll be going out with girls.
Oh, I'm not interested in girls.
Would you say that again?
I said, I'm not interested in girls.
Blondie, I want to have a little talk with you. Sit down.
All right.
Did you ever see a copy of Esquire?
Certainly.
Well?
They have some very interesting articles.
The interview is over.
Mr. Greenbracker, what are you trying to tell me?
Forget it. I'm a very busy man today. I'm painting my wife's picture.
Gee, I didn't know you were an artist.
I'm not.
But you said you were painting your wife's picture.
I'm painting it black. I can't stand the sight of her. Nosy. Oh, wait. Let's get back to the subject of girls again. Kid, do you know about the birds and the bees?
What have they got to do with anything?
Oh, I'm cheating some psychiatrist out of a good case. Let me put it this way. When I was your age, I'd never gone out with girls either. But then one day I met my wife, Emily, and a strange feeling came over me.
Love?
No, nausea.
Well, how did you happen to marry her, Mr. Greenbracker?
Just one of those things, kid. We went around with each other for a while, and then one night I proposed to her in a garage. And I couldn't back out.
That's very interesting, Mr. Greenbracker, but I came in here for a pair of long pants.
Oh, okay. Come on into the pants department.
Gee, Mr. Greenbracker, this window here looks out into your backyard, doesn't it?
Don't lean out of that window, kid. The pulley's broken and the window's liable to come down on your head.
Oh, it's perfectly safe. I want to look out and see your garden.
Don't stick your head out of there. That window will fall down and fracture your skull.
Don't be silly. How can a big window like this fall down when it's fast? Oh!
I'm glad. Now, come on over here and look at these pants. Here's a pair that'll just fit you.
Gee, they're nice. How much are they?
They're $139.
Gee, the pants' legs are kind of tight. I can't get my feet into them.
Grease your ankles.
No, this pair over here looks better. I'll take these.
They're $18.
I'll take them.
Don't make up your mind right away. Go home and talk it over with your patrol leader.
Don't have to talk it over with anybody. I'll take these. Wrap them up.
Okay. Here you are, and I hope you're happy with them. Gee, I'll never forget my first pair of long pants. They were purple with light green stripes and 4-inch cuffs. The minute I walked out of the house, everybody started laughing.
Why?
I forgot to put them on.
Oh. Good day, Mr. Greenbracker.
Good day, Mr. Young.
And that, Kenny, was my first meeting with Mr. Greenbracker. And you know, to this day, he never wants to sell me anything.
Well, that's certainly a switch. Most shopkeepers are anxious to sell their stuff when they have it.
Not Mr. Greenbracker. Why, he wouldn't even sell me a ferry boat.
Well, how do you know he has a ferry boat?
He must have. Last time I saw him, his slip was showing.
I'll walk alone because to tell you the truth, I've walk alone. They'll ask me why, and I'll tell them I'd rather. There are dreams I must gather, dreams we fashioned the night you held me tight. I'll always be near you wherever you are each night. In every prayer, if you call, I hear you, no matter how far. Just close your eyes, and I'll be there. Please walk alone, and send your love and your kisses to guide me. Till you're walking beside me, I'll walk alone. I'll always be near you wherever you are each night. In every prayer, if you call, I hear you, no matter how far. Just close your eyes, and I'll be there. Please walk alone, and send your love and your kisses to guide me. Till you're walking beside me, I'll walk
Well, Mr. Young, let's continue with your life story. You must tell me more about your background.
All right, Miss Hatch. There weren't any brilliant minds in my family. The Youngs were a proud lot, but they were a vacant lot. The day I became 21, I realized it was time for me to go to work. After all, I couldn't make adolescence my career. I decided to go into radio. My first job was with a local station in town. This station was owned by Mr. Littles, and Mr. Littles used to let me tinker around in the control room. Littles Tinker, the boys used to call me. Then I decided to try to get a job with one of the networks. Gee, what a big radio station this is. I wonder where I go to get a job. There's so many doors. Let's see the signs on these doors. Technical men, control men, production men, men. What's this next one? Audition room. I'll go and see if I can get myself an audition.
I'm busy. Whatever it is, slip it under the door.
Okay. It was a tight squeeze, but I made it.
Well, what can I do for you?
Sir, I'm a comedian. I'd like to get a program of my own.
All right. Step over to the microphone and tell me a joke.
Well, gee, gosh.
Oh, my boy, don't be nervous. Huh? I'm your friend. We need comedians. I want you to succeed. I want to help you. I want to give you every chance in the world. Now, go ahead. Tell your joke.
Well, it seems that Pat met Mike one day.
Trusting soul, wasn't he?
Well, Miss Hatch, I finally talked him into giving me a job. The leading role in the station's most popular dramatic program. What a show that was. It was called Young Dr. Young. The thrilling story of a young doctor named Young Dr. Young. Played by Young Dr. Young, who was a doctor and young. Doctor? Which was why they called the story of Young Dr. Young, Young Dr. Young.
How did that go again?
It doesn't make any difference. In the radio section of the newspaper, the program was listed as racing results. Oh, that first episode. I'll never forget it.
presenting another thrilling chapter in that exciting dramatic serial, Young Dr. Young. As the story opens, we find young Dr. Young in the hospital corridor.
Calling Dr. Young. Calling Dr. Young. You should hear what they're calling Dr. Young. Dr. Young wanted in the operating room.
Come, nurse. We're needed in the operating room. Nurse, quick. Get me some hot water and a towel.
Are you going to operate, Doctor?
No, I'm going to take a bath.
But, Doctor, the operation.
I'm ready. Are you?
Ready.
Scalpel.
Scalpel.
Sponge.
Sponge.
Forceps.
Forceps.
Suture.
Suture.
Nurse.
Yes.
Where's the patient? Miss Hatch, as you can readily see, I was making wonderful progress in radio. And I went on from that serial to a big detective program in which I played the part of a famous law enforcement officer, Sheriff Young.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Sheriff Young to tell us about another of his famous cases. Sheriff Young, what would you say was the most exciting case in your career?
Well, partner, I remember a case I broke when I was a member of the Texas Rangers. It all started in a little border town. One night it was raining, and down by the railroad station... That man is now in prison for life.
Thank you, Sheriff Young.
After that, they gave me an even bigger program. You may have heard it. The Happy Kitty Hour. Thank you. Good morning, kiddies. This is your happy Uncle Alan. My, what a big spitball. Well, anyway, kiddies, this is your Uncle Alan. All right, you just bet you. Uncle Alan is brought to you by the makers of Bomb Schnucks Lollipops. 99 and 44 100% stick. In a scientific laboratory test against 7 other leading brands, Bomb Schnucks didn't do so good. Remember, Bomb Schnucks is the only lollipop that is guaranteed to make a sucker out of you. And Bomb Schnucks come in 3 handy sizes. All day, half day, and quick drool. And don't forget, all Bomb Schnucks lollipops are pre-licked. Kiddies, just remember to eat Bomb Schnucks lollipops and grow up to be a great big... Now, kiddies, it's time for... It's now time for our mailbag. The first letter here is from little Rodney O'Droopenflop. Uncle Alan is very glad to learn that you've been killing all those rats at the city dump, Rodney. But there's really no need to mail them all in to Uncle Alan. And now to get on with the program, here's our first little guest. And what is your name, Sonny?
Norman Dittenpfeffer.
Norman Dittenpfeffer. Well, Norman, will you tell all the mummies and daddies listening in what you think of Uncle Alan's radio program?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What does an elephant do with its trunk?
It smells. Oh, I see. Well, Norman, for your bright answer, Uncle Alan is going to give you a Bomb Schnucks lollipop. Stand right up here at the microphone and show everybody how much you enjoy eating it. Go ahead, lick the lollipop.
Yes, sir. Well, don't stand around, everybody. Let's bury the kid. Well, Miss Hatch, so far in my radio career, I have done everything but comedy. And now I suppose you want to know how I got one of my first comedy programs. Well, it happened this way. It was in the year 1938, almost 2 years ago now. I went up to an office one day and knocked at the door.
Mr. Grotney, my name is Alan Young. I'd like to do a program for you people.
Get out.
But, Mr. Grotney...
Get out of here, you stupid, fish-faced, hammer-headed, moronic, undernourished idiot.
Undernourished? Mr. Grotney, I want to go on the air for you.
Do you think that we give programs out to any jerk that walks into this office?
Mr. Grotney, were you in Hackensack, New Jersey in April 1941?
Do you think we give valuable airtime... Hackensack?
April 1941.
Why, yes.
Remember that red-headed manicurist named Gladys?
Starting tomorrow, you have your own program, and good luck to you, my boy.
Good night, lovers of static.
It was just one of those things, just one of those crazy things, one of those bells that now and then ring, just one of those things. It was just one of those nights, just one of those fabulous flights, a trip to the moon, gossamer wings, just one of those things. If we thought a bit of the end of it when we started painting the town, we'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot not to cool down. So goodbye, dear and amen. Here's hoping now and then. It was great fun, but it was just one of those things. If we thought a bit of the end of it when we started painting the town, we'd have been aware, but our love affair was too hot not to cool down.
Friends, on behalf of Diane, Tim, Peter, and myself, in fact, all of us, we want to thank you for being with us tonight.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
The Alan Young Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Delmar welcoming you to the Alan Young Show, featuring our singing star Diane Courtney, the music of Peter Van Steeden, and starring Alan Young. Well, friends, we're just outside Alan Young's house. It's a beautiful house. The walls are covered with rambling roses. No paint, just roses. You know, Alan gave a dinner party last night. I wonder if he's finished washing the dishes.
Oh, hello, Kenny. Come on in.
Okay.
Glad you dropped in, Kenny. Did you enjoy the dinner party I gave last night?
I certainly did, Alan. I'm sorry I had to leave so soon. How long did the party go on after I left?
Oh, it lasted for about an hour and a quart. But I'm glad you liked the meal. What did you think of the main course, the beefsteak surprise?
Beefsteak surprise? What was the surprise?
Didn't you notice? No beefsteak. And by the way, I'm not going to invite Peter Van Steeden to another dinner party at my house. The man simply has no table manners at all. If you remember when I was eating, I kept my little finger extended.
Well, what's that supposed to indicate, elegance?
No, it means a left turn into the spaghetti. Yeah, that was quite a dinner, and very expensive, too. When I was out shopping at a dairy, they asked me 40 cents for a quart of buttermilk, but I outsmarted them.
What did you do?
I bought a pound of butter and I milked it myself. Incidentally, Kenny, you ought to see that dairy I go to. It's ultra-modern. They put a radio in the stall with every cow to encourage production. When I got there, the place was flooded with milk.
Why?
The cows were listening to Double or Nothing.
Well, say, Alan, I meant to ask you, why did you give that dinner party?
Didn't you know, to celebrate the big victory of my high school football team? I love football. I saw the Cornell-Princeton game last year, and I sat so far up in the grandstand I had to use binoculars. Somehow or other, a penny got stuck on one of the lenses.
What happened?
All through the first half, I thought Abraham Lincoln was playing fullback.
Well, you kind of like football, don't you, Alan?
Oh, yes. I was the star halfback for the Tutwater High School team in their big game of the season.
Who did you play?
The Beaverdale Bloomer Girls. I'll never forget that game. Before the game, everybody said the Bloomer Girls had beat the pants off us. But if you happen to see the game, you know that we beat we won. I'd love to tell you more, Kenny, but I left the water running from my bath. I've got to get upstairs. You can wait for me here in the living room if you want.
Mr. Young! Hey, Mr. Young, come up here into the kitchen.
Oh, that cook of mine. I wonder what she wants. What is it, Carmelita?
Mr. Young, perhaps you can lend me a hand, eh? I want you to help me paste this chicken.
Paste the chicken?
See, and look how the cookbook spells paste. With a B.
Oh, must be a mistake. Here's the glue. You know, Carmelita, you're not doing a very good job of keeping this house in order.
Mr. Young, one more remark like this, and I go out and get for myself another job. Don't forget, I have very good references from my last employer.
References? You never showed them to me.
I got the letter right here. Look, I read it to you. Carmelita Gomez is a very good cook, and she keep my house clean. I can recommend her. She is so efficient.
Wait a second. Who signed that reference?
Xavier Cougar.
Put that letter away and get busy with the house. Here, I bought some furniture polish for you.
Is it good stuff?
Oh, it's wonderful. You just put some on the furniture and rub for 3 days. Then put a little more on and rub for 4 days. And before you know it, the week is gone. Now, get busy around here. If anybody calls, I'll be taking a bath.
Mr. Young, you took a bath yesterday.
I take a bath every day.
Oh, you Americans are so superstitious. Los americanos de los Estados Unidos son locos en las cabezas.
That's what I get for hiring a Swedish cook. Hey, that water is still running in the tub. I better get upstairs right away. I didn't overflow much. The only thing that's floating is the sink. Now for a nice hot bath and get my clothes off. My jacket, my tie, my shirt. Darn it. Why do I use these safety pins? Doesn't that bathtub look inviting? Just like an ocean. I'll make believe I'm an admiral in the Navy. Now, this is my fleet. This washcloth is a battleship. This sponge is a destroyer. This scrubbing brush is an aircraft carrier. Now I'll open fire. Bang! Bang, bang, bang! Some sneak loaded the soap. Now for my bath. Kind of cold. Carmelita, what's wrong with the hot water?
It's cold.
Well, why isn't it hot?
Because the hot water heater is bust.
Oh, that hot water heater. I'll have to get a new one. Never get a hot bath in this house.
Alan, what are you mumbling about?
Oh, hello, Kenny. I'd forgotten you were still here. My hot water heater's broken again. I gotta go downtown and buy a new one. Want to come along? Kenny, look who's coming down the street. Diane Courtney. Hello, Diane.
Hello, Alan.
Say, Diane, I heard some wonderful news about you. The editorial staff of Song Hits magazine has chosen you as the outstanding new singer of 1944 because of your wonderful work you've done on radio, records, and your singing for the armed forces. That's a wonderful honor, you know.
Well, thank you, Alan. I'm really grateful to Song Hits magazine and its readers, and I'd like to thank them very much.
You know, Diane, I had an honor conferred on me by a magazine this week, too.
Really? What was it?
Well, the editors of the Grapefruit Growers Weekly looked over the field of new comedians, and they selected me as the most promising young squirt of 1944. By the way, Diane, have you learned any new songs lately?
Uh-huh. But may I do an old favorite? Just one of those things?
Oh, swell, Diane.
It was just one of those things. Just one of those crazy things. One of those bells that now and then rings. Just one of those things. It was just one of those nights. Just one of those fabulous flights. A trip to the moon on gossamer wings. Just one of those things. If we thought a bit of the end of it when we started painting the town, we'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot not to cool down. So goodbye, dear, and amen. Here's hoping we meet now and then. It was great fun, but it was just one of those things. If we thought a bit of the end of it when we started painting the town, we'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot not to cool down. Oh, it was great fun, but it was just one of those things, dear. Just one of those wonderful
Gee, that was fine, Diane.
well, thank you, Alan. Oh, here comes my sister Betty. You remember Betty, don't you, Alan?
Oh, yeah. Hello, Betty.
Hello, Mr. Young. How are you?
Oh, that's okay. Betty,
Yes, Mr. Young.
care to see me jump over this fire hydrant?
Mm-hmm.
Alan, you sort of like my sister, don't you?
Oh, well, you know what they say in French?
No, what?
They can say almost anything in French. Sure is nice to see you, Betty.
Thank you.
Alan, Betty's very thrilled because today she's starting college. She's looking forward to meeting all the big college men.
Huh?
Oh, yes, I've heard so much about them. Oh, they're all so suave and sophisticated.
Huh? Diane, cigarette?
No, Alan.
Good. Betty, cigarette?
No, Mr. Young.
Good. Well, I guess I'll have to bum one from somebody else. You made any good fudge lately, Betty?
Not lately.
Ah.
Well, I've got some more shopping to do. I'll see you later, kids.
Goodbye, Diane.
Goodbye, Diane. Your sister's swell, Betty. I don't meet many girls like her.
No?
I don't meet many girls like you either.
No?
I don't meet many girls. Betty, are you walking my way?
Yes, I am.
Good. So am I. Gosh, Betty, you're the prettiest girl I ever saw.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. I could just be putty in your hands, if you care for a handful of putty. You know, I was going to ask you for a date.
Well, okay, Mr. Young. I'll go out with you. I had a fight with my parents, and I want to disgrace them.
What?
Oh, I didn't mean that, Mr. Young. But my dad doesn't like you. Well, he says that anyone I go out with has to be a man of the world.
Well, tell him I'm a man of the world.
I did, and he said he means this world.
Oh.
And another thing, Dad prefers a man who can... Oh, there's Eddie. Hello, Eddie. Oh, isn't that a lovely car he has, Mr. Young? A brand new 8-cylinder roadster. Oh, Mr. Young, Eddie's waving at you. Why don't you say something to him?
Well, okay. Hi, Eddie. Your father out of jail yet?
Mr. Young, that wasn't very nice. Eddie is a very fine boy, and he's taking me to the country club dance tonight.
Huh? They got a nice dance at the Elks Club tonight. I'm going down if I can get an elk. I hate to go to the Elks as a stag. Pretty good, eh, Betty? Elk, stag, you know, sort of a joke. Forget it.
Oh, there's Charlie. Oh, he has a convertible roadster, too. Oh, Charlie's so much fun. He's effervescent, and he just bubbles over.
Soda 7-Up, and you get 2 cents back on the bottle. Diane said you were going to go to college.
Oh, yes, I've been looking forward to it. Oh, I'm so much in love with Plato, Socrates, and Euripides.
Mm-hmm. Don't you ever go out with American boys?
Mr. Young, you just don't understand. Whatever stopped you from going to college?
High school. Of course, I could have gone to college. My father wanted me to have all the advantages he didn't have. He wanted me to go to Vassar.
But Vassar is a girls' college.
He wanted me to have all the advantages he didn't have. Besides, Gee, look at the time. I got to be getting along. I got to buy a hot water heater for my house.
Where are you going to buy it?
You haven't lived around here very long, have you? Where do I buy anything? Greenbracker's department store. Mr. Greenbracker. Mr. Greenbracker.
Oh, you would have to walk in now.
Oh, were you doing something important?
I was in the back of the store, wrapping up a package to send to my wife's brother overseas.
What are you sending him?
My wife. Now, did you come in here to buy something, or did the girls on the block throw you out of their potsy game again?
Don't be silly, Mr. Greenbracker. I don't play potsy. I'm grown up. Why do you think I wear these long pants?
So the fellas can tell you from your sister. Now, what did you come in here for? Buster Brown?
Well, Mr. Greenbracker, I'm here because I haven't had a hot bath for weeks.
I bet you don't get many dates, do you?
Greenbacker, what I mean is my hot water heater is broken, so I have to take cold baths.
Well, tell me something, kid, and I hope I'm not being too personal. But who washes your back?
Nobody. I do it myself with a long-handled scrubbing brush.
I tried that the last time I took a bath, and it was no good.
Why not?
I tore my underwear.
Look, Mr. Greenbacker, do you have a hot water heater to sell me?
Sure I have. I have a gas heater, an electric heater, a coal heater, and a radio model.
What's a radio model?
Gabriel heater, nosy.
Mr. Greenbacker, why are you always so nasty to me? Is something bothering you?
I never get any rest at night. My wife walks in her sleep.
Why does that keep you from resting?
I dream that I'm a sailor and I follow her.
Isn't that strange? You're unhappy because you can't sleep, and my trouble is that I sleep like a log.
What's wrong with sleeping like a log?
My father keeps throwing me into the fireplace. I wish he wouldn't do it. I keep on making an ash of myself.
Isn't he corny? Kid, no wonder you can sleep. No wonder you can sleep, kid. You don't have a wife like my Emily to nag you. Take my advice, kid. Don't ever get married.
Why not?
Between you and me, love is silly.
Between you and me, it would be ridiculous. Now, can I see the hot water heater?
Here's one right over here. This is a gas heater.
Well, let me see if it works. I'll turn on the gas. Ah, the gas is coming through all right. I think I'll light a match.
Don't light a match. Too much gas has escaped. It'll explode.
I can't explode. I'll just light a match to see if the heater works.
Don't light that match. The explosion will knock you flat on your face.
There's no danger at all. Light this match and then
I'm glad.
Mr. Greenback, maybe I better buy an electric hot water heater. That one near the showcase looks like a good one. The tag on it says guaranteed for 2 years and gives hot water in 30 seconds.
That's a misprint. It's guaranteed for 30 seconds and gives hot water in 2 years. The price is $95 cash.
Well, I haven't got the cash. I'll pay you in installments.
I sell for cash only. If you haven't got the money now, you can borrow it across the street at the Loophole Loan Company.
Well, I never borrowed any money from a loan company, but I'll do it this once because I need the heater badly.
You'll be very happy with this heater. I've got one myself.
Huh?
Last night I came home after a hard day's work, got all set to take a nice hot bath, but I couldn't.
Why not? Didn't the heater work?
Yeah, it worked.
Was the water supply cut off?
No, there was plenty of water.
Then why couldn't you take your bath?
'Cause the sink was full of dishes.
Oh, good day, Mr.
Good day, Mr. Young.
Gee, I'm kind of nervous about going into that loan company. I better stop in here at Kenny's drugstore for a bracing malted milk. Oh, hiya, Kenny.
Hiya, Alan.
Okay, I guess. What's cooking?
Nothing. It always smells this way around here. I got millions of them.
Oh, great.
What's worrying you, Alan?
Oh, I gotta get a loan.
All right, I take the hint. I'll leave.
No, Kenny, no. A loan. You know the stuff you get in banks?
You mean you're going to a bank because you want to be alone?
The place Mr. Breenbracker sent me to. The Friendly, Courteous Loophole Loan Company. How do you do? Are you Mr. Loophole?
Yes, what do you want, you flat-headed, fish-faced, imbecilic, repulsive, timid, moronic-looking baboon?
Timid? I came in here to borrow some money.
Oh, you did you? What do you think we loan money to any stupid-looking character? Loophole Loan Company, what do you want? Oh, hello, Mr. Frisbee. You borrowed $900 from us 6 years ago, and I was kind of hoping that you might be able to make a payment soon. No, huh? Well, I hope you're not angry at me for mentioning the loan, Mr. Frisbee. You're not? Oh, thank you, Mr. Frisbee. Goodbye.
Who is Mr. Frisbee?
The head of my draft board. Now, you say you want to borrow some money?
Yes, I understand you do business in a very friendly, courteous way.
Oh, sure we do. See that branding iron over there in the corner? Haven't used that on one of our customers for weeks.
Oh.
So you want to borrow some money. Well, first I want to measure your thumbs.
Why measure my thumbs?
I want to make sure they fit our thumb screws. How much would you want to borrow?
$95.
I see. Well, give me a list of all your past addresses.
Well, I lived at 264 Applegate Road for 14 years. Then I lived at 371 South Avenue for 15 years. Then I moved back to Applegate Road and lived there for 22 years.
Just a second. You're only about 25. How could you be living in this town over 51 years?
I forced myself.
I see. Well, tell me something. What do you do for a living?
I'm a radio comedian.
Oh, a radio comedian. One of those wise guys who do jokes about loan companies. Heard one of them the other night who said he had to leave his mother in the loan company dungeon as security on a loan.
I never did a joke like that. That was Eddie Cantor.
Well, the next time you see him, tell him to call for his mother. Now we come to another thing. If we lend you the money, what are you going to put up for security?
Well, how about that medal I won at PS 95 for coming in second in the potato race?
Who came in first?
The potato.
Well, now, look, Mr. Young, when we hand out money, we've got to be sure we're going to get it back. Step inside for your physical examination.
Physical examination? What for?
Suppose you don't pay back the money.
Well?
We want to make sure you're strong enough to work on our chain gang. Now, just step into the next room. The doctor will take care of you.
Okay.
You're not nervous, are you?
Oh, no, I'm not nervous. I'm just breaking in these goose pimples for a goose. Well, where's the doctor?
Here I am. Step right in here, please.
Oh, how do you do, Doctor?
Now, young man, relax. I am Dr. Finwangle. Who are you?
Dr. Finwangle?
Oh, glad to meet you, Dr. Finwangle. I've been bothered with a pain in my side.
No, just a second. I'm Alan Young. You're Dr. Finwangle.
Really? How long have you been suffering from it?
Suffering from what?
Finwangle, very serious disease. You can't borrow any money if you have Finwangle.
Look, I need that money very badly, so examine me quick, quack.
All right, now, stick out your tongue. Further. 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 Now put your tongue back in your mouth.
Well, what's next, Doctor?
Now, let me listen to your heart. I will listen to your heart. I will put this stethoscope on your chest. And now, sing something, please.
The old oaken bucket.
A little louder, please.
The iron-bound bucket.
A little louder.
The moss-covered bucket.
That's it.
That hangs by the well.
Well, that's fine. Do you know Besame Mucho?
Oh, let me out of here. I'll get my money and buy myself that hot water here.
Mr. Young, before you go in there to take your bath, I have to talk to you.
Carmelita, look, I'm tired. I want to take a bath. I've been running around all day getting an electric hot water heater. First, I went to Breenbracker's department store, then to the loan company. Now, I've spent the last 3 hours connecting up the electric wires down in the basement.
Yes, but you got the wires mixed up between the radio and the hot water pipe.
I did?
Sure. I just turned on the radio and hot water come out.
Hot water came out of the radio. My goodness, let's see what comes out of the hot water faucet when I turn it on. Stand back, I'll turn the faucet on. Look, something's coming out.
How do you do? Has anyone seen my husband?
Carmelita, say hello to John's other wife. Good night, lovers of hot water heaters.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
stand by for an hour of fun and merriment as Bristol Myers present The Alan Young Show, followed by the new Gracie Fields Show with Fred Brady. Stand by, fun's coming. And now, Bristol Myers, the makers of Sal Hepatica for the smile of health and Vitalis for hair that's well groomed, present The Alan Young Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Delmar speaking on behalf of those two old friends, Sal Hepatica and Vitalis, and welcoming you to The Alan Young Show, featuring our singing star Diane Courtney, the music of Peter Van Steeden, Lulu McConnell, and starring Alan Young. And now, folks, it's time for our regular Tuesday night visit to Alan Young's house. Let's see if he's home.
Oh, hello, Kenny. Come on in.
Oh, thanks.
It's just shaving with my electric razor. Excuse me while I finish, will you?
Yeah.
There. Kenny, aren't these electric razors wonderful? Look, it shaved every bit of fuzz off these peaches. I've got so many things to do, Kenny. I've got to write a letter.
Well, don't mind me, Alan. I'll sit down here on the couch.
I've been meaning to write this letter for a long while. It's to a guy who owes me some money.
We'll make it a good, strong letter, Alan.
I will. Let's see. How's this? Dear Larry, who owes me a lot of money? You. Who never paid me back? You. Who is a chiseler and a rat? Yours truly, Alan Young. Here. That ought to hold him. Let's see, there was something else I had to do. I want to put this picture up on the wall. Will you help me, Kenny?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, you hammer and I'll hold the nail.
Yeah, okay. Give me the hammer.
Yeah. You hit your finger with a hammer, Kenny.
No, I didn't. I hit yours.
You did?
Oh! Hey, Alan. I meant to tell you that I dropped by here last night and you weren't home. Where did you go?
Last night? Oh, I was dabbling in culture, really. You know, the opera opened, so I went to New York to see a performance of Carmen at the Metropolitan Opera House. Got all dressed up, too. Wore my top hat, white tie, but I felt chilly.
Why?
My bathrobe kept flying open.
Did you sit in the box, Alan?
No, I sat on the aisle. For 50 cents more, I could have sat on a seat. I was way up on the balcony. I sat behind a guy who was 6'3" tall.
Oh, then you couldn't see anything.
Oh, yes, I could. I was lucky. The guy had a hole in his head. Really a very swank, who can that be?
Hello, Alan.
Oh, Diane Courtney. Come on in, Diane. Diane, you're a singer. You'll be interested in this. I was just telling Kenny about the performance of Carmen I saw last night.
Oh, I can't understand it, Alan. You, of all people, going to the Metropolitan. What do you know about opera?
What do I know about opera? Why, Diane, I was born in an opera house. When my parents saw me, they were very disappointed.
What did they expect?
Rigoletto. My father was something of a composer, you know. Once he started to write a piano sonata for 4 hands, but he gave it up. After all, who has 4 hands? Then my uncle was a musician, too. He played the tom-tom.
The tom-tom?
Yes, and don't sneer, Kenny. It's a very difficult instrument. It can't be played by any Tom, Dick, or Harry. And I've been planning to put on my own opera sometime. Well, who can that be?
Hiya, Mr. Young. Are you home?
Why, it's little David Dittenpfeffer from across the street. Come on in, David.
Hiya, Davy.
Hello, David.
How do you do, Mr. Delmar and Miss Courtney? I am truly overjoyed to see you.
Oh, David, you certainly have your manners with you today. What makes you act so gentlemanly?
Christmas is only 2 weeks away. I'm no jerk.
Well, I'm glad you came over, David. I was just going to tell Miss Courtney and Mr. Delmar about an opera I saw last night, and I want you to listen, too. Pay strict attention. This is going to be very educational, you bet you.
Mr. Young, did you know that my father is a
He's a what, David boy? He's a what?
Musician.
Good old.
He played the violin, but he gave it up and started playing the piano.
Well, why did he take up the piano?
His glass of beer was always falling off the violin, nosy.
Oh, bless your little... Now, David boy... David, your levity is out of place in such a cultural discussion.
Oh, don't be sore at me, Mr. Young. Here, I'll let you play with my yo-yo.
I'm too old to play with a yo-yo. I'm not in the habit of doing such juvenile things. String wasn't very strong, was it? Now, David boy, pay attention, and I'll tell you all about the opera Carmen. You bet you. Now, Carmen was written by the famous composer Georges Alexander César Léonard Bizet.
How do you spell it?
C-A-R-M-E-N. Georges Bizet was born in 1853 and died in oblivion, which is 20 miles south of Paris. Now
Mr. Young, I just remembered that I have to go to music school.
Music school? What instrument are you studying?
The glamour hawk.
The glamour hawk? What's that?
It's a big long tube, 39 feet long, and you play it by blowing into each end of the tube at the same time.
Well, how can you blow into both ends of a tube 39 feet long at the same time?
Do you have to do it?
No.
Then what are you worried about?
All right, David, you can run along home now. Be good.
I sure will. You bet you. So long, Mr. Young.
You know, if that kid's head was the North Pole and his feet were the South Pole, I'd love to have my hand spend 30 seconds over Tokyo. Let's see, where was I? Oh, yeah, about the opera.
You know, Alan, I've always wished that we had an opera in this town.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say the same thing, Diane.
Oh? And I've often felt that we needed one, too. So why can't we put on our own original opera? I'll write it, and Diane, you can sing the lead, and Peter Van Steeden can get an orchestra together with the local musicians. We'll rent the town hall for the performance. It's a great idea. We'll do it.
It sounds great, Alan, but what'll we use for money?
Money? Oh, well, we'll get it from Mrs. Lulu Vandercrust. She's the wealthiest woman in town. She's just filthy with lucre.
Alan, this makes me very happy.
Yeah, and it makes me happy, too.
Oh, Kenny, you're always happy.
No, I mean that I'm happy that good music will at long last come to our town. You know, I write music.
Oh, really, Kenny?
Yeah, I compose music in bed.
What kind of music can you compose in bed?
Sheet music.
Oh, bless his little.
I thought maybe you'd let me put a song I wrote in your opera.
What song?
I beg your pardon?
I say, what's the name of the song?
Oh. Is you is or is you ain't going to get Sal Hepatica?
Oh, no.
Because if you is, you're going to be helped. And if you ain't, you ain't. I'm serious.
I know you are, Kenny.
Well, the fact is, Sal Hepatica is a great help when you feel sick and headachy due to the need of a laxative, particularly when you wake up in the morning. For a glass of Sal Hepatica taken then brings quick, gentle relief, usually within an hour. And that means you don't have to risk feeling miserable all day to wait until night to take a laxative. You can always take Sal Hepatica the minute you need it. What's more, sparkling Sal Hepatica brings you this additional advantage.
This famous saline helps sweeten an upset stomach by helping to reduce excess gastric acidity.
So tonight or tomorrow, get a bottle of Sal Hepatica from your druggist, remembering this caution, use only as directed. Keep that bottle handy in your home or in your place of business. Then whenever you need a laxative, morning, noon, or night, see how much faster you feel better, thanks to gentle, speedy Sal Hepatica. And here's our glamorous singing star, Diane Courtney, to sing the Trolley Song.
With my high starched collar and my high top shoes and my hair piled high up on my head, I went to lose a jolly hour on the trolley and lost my heart instead. With his light brown derby and his bright green tie, he was quite the handsomest of men. I started to yell, so I counted to 10. Then I counted to 10 again. Clang, clang, clang went the trolley. Ding, ding, ding went the bell. Zing, zing, zing went my heartstrings. For the moment I saw him I fell. Chug, chug, chug went the motor. Bump, bump, bump went the brake. Bump, bump, bump went my heartstrings. When he smiled, I could feel the car shake. He tipped his hat and took a seat. He said he hoped he hadn't stepped upon my feet. He asked my name. I held my breath. I couldn't speak because he scared me half to death. Buzz, buzz, buzz went the buzzer. Flop, flop, flop went the wheel. Stop, stop, stop went my heartstrings. As he started to leave, I took hold of his sleeve with my hand. And as if it were planned, he stayed on with me, and it's grand just to stand with his hand holding mine to the end of the
Here's Mrs. Vandercrust's house. Hope she'll lend me the money to put on my opera. She's so wealthy. She's the leader of the town society set. I'll be extra nice to her. I'll talk to her as if I were one of the 400, too. Ah, good day, Mrs. Vandercrust. I'm charmed to see you again. Simply charmed.
And I'm charmed to see you, my dear. Come in, won't you? And please excuse the untidy state in which you find my establishment.
Oh, what do you mean?
The dump's a mess, dearie.
This woman is one of the 400. She must have been marked down to 398.
Come right in here, honey. Into the library.
Oh, were you having tea?
No. I used to drink tea in England, but I can't drink it the American way.
Why not?
The bag gets caught in my throat. Are you dying?
Mrs. Vandercrust, I came over here to talk to you about an opera I'm writing. Do you know anything about the opera?
My dear boy, before I started dancing in the Follies, I sang opera.
Oh?
I was in the Barber of Seville.
Oh, what part did you play?
A hot towel. Ain't that rich? I like the Follies better.
Huh?
Yes, but I had to quit because my foot was always cold.
Well, why was your foot always cold?
Because I danced in the Follies with a hole in my stocking. I was wonderful in the Follies.
Oh?
On opening night, one of my admirers gave me an orchid. I still have it.
Oh, by now it must be a century plant. Look, Mrs. Vandercrust, the reason why I brought up the subject of the opera is because we're going to put one on at the town hall, but we need money. Would you back us?
Why, of course, dearie, of course. What's the opera going to be about, honey?
Well, I don't know exactly. I haven't started to write it yet.
I've got an idea.
Yeah?
Why don't you write an opera about my life? You could call it La Traviata, Rigoletto, Il Trovatore.
La Traviata, Rigoletto, Il Trovatore. That's the story of your life?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Woo-woo!
Oh, goodbye, Mrs. Vandercrust. I have to go to the public library and do some research.
Tres beans. So long, dearie.
Here I am in the library. Now I have to do some research for my opera. Well, there's the librarian.
Something I can do for you?
Yes, I'm writing an opera. I'd like to see some books.
The music books are over there.
Yeah, but I'd like to...
Over there.
But I want to...
Over there!
Who does he think he is? George M. Cohan? Let's see these reference books. How to write librettos, how to write allegros, how to write cantatas. Not a darn thing about music. Here's a big pile of books here. Gosh, they're piled way up to the ceiling. The book I want is right at the bottom. Oh, well, I'll just pull it out. There. I guess everybody thought the whole pile was going to fall down. Fooled you, didn't I? No!
Quiet!
Quiet!
Quiet! Quiet!
sorry. All the books were piled up very high, and my book was in very bottom, and I pulled it out. Whole thing fell over. Plunk. Well, let's see.
Oh, Mr. Young. Mr. Young.
Oh, it's my girlfriend, Betty. Hello, Betty.
Hello, Mr. Young. I hear you're writing an opera. Oh, that's so sophisticated of you.
Yeah. Well, I hope the people don't expect anything too avoir de langue d'amour because they're not going to get it.
Why not?
I don't know what it means.
Oh, you'll write a wonderful opera, Mr. Young.
Oh, sure. Of course, I got music in my blood. You want me to bleed something for you? It's a wonderful opera. See, in the first act, about all the people...
What key are you writing it in?
All the...
What key are you writing it in?
You think there's more than one?
Oh, Mr. Young, I don't think. I know.
I don't think I know either. But I'm not worried. If I need more music, I'll have Beethoven write a few more pages. He had lunch with me yesterday.
But, Mr. Young, Beethoven's been dead for 100 years. How could he have lunch with you yesterday?
He forced himself.
Tell me about the story of the opera, Mr. Young.
Yeah, well, it's about a boy and a girl. They're of different sexes, of course.
Oh, Mr. Young, you mean like you and me?
Yeah, if you'll pardon the expression.
Mr. Young?
Yes, Betty?
My shoulders are cold.
They are?
Yes. I'm very cold. And we're all alone back here.
Yeah?
Can't you think of anything to do about it?
Sure. There. That'll make them send up some more steam. Betty, let's look at some of the travel books, shall we? Here's a book. This is a book on Niagara Falls. Betty.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Young, you're so daring.
Betty, after we've had our, when we go on our...
Mr. Young, you mean you want us to go to Niagara Falls?
Yeah, I want that more than anything else in the world.
Oh, Niagara Falls and our honeymoon. Oh, do you really mean it?
Sure. I always did want to see how they made that shredded wheat.
Oh, Mr. Young, you're so frustrating. Goodbye.
Betty's an unpredictable sort of chap. Oh, well. Gee. Look at the time. I'm going to need some help with my opera. I'll go down to the drugstore and ask Kenny if he'll help me paint some scenery. Kenny! No, he isn't here. Nobody's in the store. Gee, look, Kenny's got a new shipment of candy over there on the counter. Nobody's around. Oh, I'll go over and feel it. Mm-hmm. Oh, soft centers. I don't know why Kenny doesn't keep...
Hello, Alan.
Oh, hello, Kenny. I just dropped in to ask if you'd do me a favor. I got to work on my opera, and I wonder if you'd go down to the town hall and paint the scenery. I'll stay here in the drugstore for you and take care of any customer who happens to drop in.
Yeah, okay, Alan, but be sure you're nice to the customers.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, especially the men.
Why, of course I will, if they're bigger than me.
Oh, you won't have any trouble, Alan. It's just that we druggists try to be particularly patient with our men customers, especially when they come in and ask for Vitalis.
But civilians can't get Vitalis anymore.
Yeah, that's right. And it's quite a disappointment to so many of them who've come to depend on Vitalis to help keep their hair well groomed.
All right, Kenny, I'll be very nice to anybody who comes in.
Yeah, and explain to them, Alan, that the reason civilians can't get Vitalis is because Bristol-Myers were faced with wartime shortages and couldn't supply both civilians and servicemen. So they decided that the servicemen come first. And so all Vitalis made is going to the armed forces.
Kenny, somebody's going to hate me for this, but why should a guy fighting a war want Vitalis?
Well, remember, Alan, all of the boys are not at the fighting front. Think of how many boys are still in this country. And think of how many boys over there get leave.
So they really want Vitalis, huh?
Well, they must, for they're certainly buying it at their post exchanges and ship stores. That's why Bristol-Myers are giving priority to all orders for Vitalis coming from the armed forces. I guess once civilians understand this, they'll agree that the men in service come first. Don't you think so?
Well, kids, it's time to put on the opera. The orchestra's ready. The audience is in their seats. Everybody here?
No, Alan, your lady, Diane Courtney, didn't show up.
She didn't show up?
Yeah, she can't sing. She's got laryngitis. What are you going to do?
Well, I'll have to get somebody to take her place. A beautiful girl with a charming figure and a gorgeous voice.
Did you call me, Jerry?
No, Mrs. Vandercrust, I'm trying to get somebody to sing the leading role in place of Diane.
Well, what has Diana Courtney got that I haven't got? And if I had it, where would I have room to put it?
Yeah. Well, Mrs. Vandercrust...
Curtain's going up, Mr. Young.
Well, there's no time. Mrs. Vandercrust, I got to take a chance on you. There's my cue. I got to get out there. Here I go on stage, kids. Wish me luck. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. While other masters have written operas about love and tragedy, I have chosen a somewhat different topic for our opera tonight. The subject of a physician-type doctor. But I see our maestro, Peter Van Steeden, is ascending the podium. And from the basement, he will conduct the overture. Peter Van Steeden and his orchestra are composed entirely of local talent. Peter, would you mind playing the overture as is?
I am playing it as is.
Well, then play it is as. Goes up, we find ourselves in a doctor's office. The rise of the curtain will be signified by a roll on the timpani.
Whoa! Cut it out, dearie.
Mrs. Vandercrust, don't stand so close to the kettle drum.
Oh.
Now the doctor's beautiful nurse enters and sings the opening aria.
Oh, calling Dr. Kildare.
Dr. Kildare.
Oh, where is the Dr. Kildare?
Oh, where?
Come out wherever you are. Report the doors to number 3 operating room.
Where?
Operating room. Room.
Here I am, nurse. Why am I wanted?
Cut it out, dearie.
Vandercrust, please keep well back, will you?
The patient is lying on the table.
What is wrong with her?
She will tell you the story herself.
Would you mind giving me that again, Miss Dearie?
Pay attention, Mrs. Vandercrust. I must listen to your respiration. Breathe deeply. Let me examine your eyes. What can you see?
I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree.
Lackey, go home. No, it is time to operate. Scalpel. Forceps. Now, I'll begin to operate. Hand me my instruments. Now to operate.
The operation is over.
It is a complete success.
There is nothing more to be done.
Oh, yes, there is. The most important thing of all. We can't go on without it.
Doctor, what is it?
It's just my bill.
Just a moment, Alan. I want to read a telegram that we've just received. It's addressed to Alan Young, and it reads, quote, "We are happy to inform you that you have been selected by the radio editors of the United States and Canada in the 9th annual poll conducted by the Motion Picture Daily for fame as first in the most promising Star of Tomorrow classification," unquote.
Thank you, Kenny. I want to thank the radio editors of the United States and Canada and also Motion Picture Daily for their kindness. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, quietly, effectively, the fight against tuberculosis goes on. The Christmas seals you've bought have helped bring tuberculosis under control, but the fight isn't over. Your purchase of Christmas seals will help thousands of sufferers of tuberculosis. It will provide medical care and treatment for them. No other money you spend can do more good for so many. So buy Christmas seals, but lots of them.
Now, on behalf of Diane, Ken, Peter, Lulu, in fact, all of us, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. And don't forget the two products that make our Tuesdays together possible. Sal Hepatica for the smile of health, and Vitalis for hair that's well-groomed. Sal Hepatica, Vitalis. Good night.
Oh, wait a minute, lady. Wait a minute. Don't put your hands in that hot soapy water without using Trouchet. That's what I said, Trouchet. It's the beforehand lotion. A creamy, fragrant lotion that you smooth on your hands before you put them in hot, soapy water. Trouchet's beforehand protection will help keep your hands softer, smoother, and lovelier. So get Trouche. Use it beforehand and see the difference this really different hand lotion makes on your hands. Ask for Trouche. Trushay. Trouche. Now hold it, folks. Stay tuned to this station, for here comes the new Gracie Field Show with that funny man, Fred Brady, immediately following station identification. This is the Blue Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Delmar, welcoming you to the Alan Young Show, featuring our singing star, B. Wayne, the music of Peter Van Steeden, and starring Alan Young.
Thank you, Ken, and good evening, friends. Say, Kenny, where do you think I went last night? Huh? The Stork Club.
The Stork Club? How did you happen to go there?
Well, last night the lady next door had a baby, so I ran out of my apartment, hopped in a cab, and I said, follow the stork.
And the stork led you right to the front door of the Stork Club.
No, not the front door. He had to use the delivery entrance. You know, that's the first time I'd ever been to that place.
Well, how do you know it was the Stork Club?
All the waiters were standing around on one foot. Well, Kenny, no sooner did I check my hat and the head waiter comes to me and he said, good evening, I have a table for you, Mr. Webster.
Webster? What made him think your name was Webster?
I was carrying a dictionary under my arm.
Well, why did you bring a dictionary to the Stork Club?
I hate to eat alone. Kenny, I've never been to such a swanky place. The hat-check girl looked like Marlene Dietrich, the flower girl looked like Betty Grable, and the cigarette girl...
What did she look like?
An ashtray. Well, Kenny, I finally got a table, and I sat down, ordered myself some guinea hen under glass.
Oh, boy, how was it, Alan?
The guinea hen was swell, but the glass was very tough.
Alan, you really didn't eat the glass.
I certainly did. Of course, you'll never guess what I had for dessert.
What?
Some pie, Rex. But then... Oh, we should have saved that gag. Indefinitely. But then, Kenny, the most wonderful thing happened. I'd finished my meal, and I happened to look up, and there, across the room, sat Hedy Lamarr.
Hedy Lamarr?
Yeah, and she must have known who I was because she sent the waiter over to ask me for a dance.
She did?
Yeah, and he was a pretty good dancer for a waiter, too.
Well, Alan, it's not like you to go to a nightclub. You must have had some reason.
Well, I did, Kenny. I was lonely. See, I missed my girl.
Alan, I didn't know you had a girl.
Why not? My mother had a boy. Oh, I mean, sure, I have a girl, sure. Last week I went back to my hometown of Milldale. I ran into my old sweetheart, Mary Ann. Gee, we sat on the swing on the front porch.
Well? Oh, the love bug has bitten Alan Young.
He has? Get some either. Oh. Yes, he has, Kenny. Mary Ann and her mother are coming here to pay me a visit tonight, and well, I'd appreciate it if you'd give me a build-up, eh?
Okay, Alan.
Yeah. That must be them now.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Kenny, make me seem important.
Yeah, leave it to me, Alan.
Okay.
Yes?
Is this the Alan Young clam bake?
Yes, it is.
Well, I want to see Mr. Young.
Madam, nobody can see Alan Young without a ticket.
Ticket? Who does he think he is, Eddie Cantor? Now look here, greasy boy. I want to see Alan Young, and
Lady, I'm sorry, you can't come in without a ticket. Now go away before I slug you.
Oh, wait a minute, Kenny. You're overdoing it. Come here, Mrs. Grimes. Hello, Mary Ann.
Hello, Alan.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Grimes. Kenny didn't know who you were.
Oh, he didn't. I'll bet you put him up to it, you no-good, stupid, fat-headed, naive, loud-mouthed bum.
Naive? Mrs. Grimes, you're talking to a man who's seen life from the balcony of a burlesque show. You call me naive.
Oh, Alan.
Hello, Mary Ann. You glad to see me?
Oh, yes.
Notice anything different about me, Mary Ann?
No.
Take a good look.
No, I don't see anything different about you.
wearing my cufflinks backwards.
Now, look here, sloppy sock. You got me to bring Mary Ann down here, and what for?
Well, Mrs. Grimes, since Mary Ann and I are about to settle down to connubial bliss, if you'll pardon the expression, I thought you ought to know what I do for a living.
Well, what do you do for a living?
I'm a comedian.
A comedian. That's the laugh.
If it is, it's the best one I got tonight.
Well, being a radio comedian isn't my idea of honest work. Any man who marries my daughter must have a steady, sensible job.
But you don't understand, Mrs. Grimes. Or may I call you Gravel Gertie? I'm doing fine. Why, there's no telling where I can go with my career.
There is telling, but I'm a lady. Now remember, until you get yourself a decent, respectable job, you can't marry my daughter. Come along, Mary Ann.
You go on ahead, Mother. I'll be right with you. I just want to say a word to Alan.
All right. So long, pelican puss.
Gee, Mary Ann, your mother's such a manly little fellow, isn't she? But I'm glad you stayed here to talk to me. This is the first chance we've had to be alone.
Yes.
Yeah. Been looking forward to this all evening.
Me too.
Mary Ann, you like to hold hands?
Oh, I'd love to.
Do you mind if I gave you a little hug?
I wish you would.
How about a kiss?
Okay.
Gee, I hate a girl who plays hard to get. Tell me, Mary Ann, do you feel the same way as your mother does about me?
No. I think you're human.
Well, what I mean is, how do you feel about marrying a radio comedian?
Well, Alan, I had hopes of marrying a man who does more exciting work. Like a newspaper man, for instance.
What's exciting about delivering newspapers?
I mean, a newspaper reporter.
Oh, I see, a reporter. Gosh, that's an idea. I can just see myself now, dashing into the White House. How do you do, Mr. President? I'm Alan Young of the Gazette. I want a statement from you on the... Well guarded, isn't he? Marianne, if I become a newspaper reporter, will you marry me?
Yes, I will.
Gee. The next time you see me, I'll be working for a newspaper. You'll hear me yelling, "Stop the presses! Stop the presses!"
Why?
I got my pants caught in the wheels. And now, Marianne, I bid you farewell. Or as we newspaper men say, quote, unquote. Don't worry, Marianne. I'll get myself a job as a newspaper reporter. See you later.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our glamorous singing star, B. Wayne, will revive for you that swell old tune, Music Makes Me.
I like music, old or new, but music makes me do the things I never should do. I like music, sweet or blue, but music makes me do things that I never should do. My self-control was something to brag about, now it's a gag about town. The things I do I never forgiven for just when I'm living them down. I hear music, then I'm through, for music makes me do the things I never should do. It makes me lose my dignity. It makes me lose my voice. Some folks call it music, but my folks call it noise. I like music, old or new, but music makes me do the things I never should do. Oh, I like music, sweet or blue, but music makes me do things that I never should do. My self-control was something to brag about, now it's a gag about town. The things I'm never forgiven for just when I'm living them down. Da 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 da. I hear music and I'm through, for when I hear that tune, it makes me want to do all the things I never should do.
Here's where I try to get myself a job as a newspaper reporter. And I think I picked the best paper in town. The New York Daily Blade. The only paper you can shave with. Well, here's the editor's office. Now I gotta approach him for a job. I think I'll be breezy. Breezy like the reporters in the movies.
Come in. Well, what can I do for you?
Hiya, Chief. Meet the best little reporter in the business. Breezy Young. Hot news, flash news. Right in there pitching all the time. That's me. Have a cigar. What's cooking? I'm your new star reporter. See? $50 a week and I'll breeze right to work. Is that a deal? Well, that breeze died down suddenly. But I'm not discouraged. I'll try again.
Come in.
Hiya, Chief. I'm back again.
Who are you?
Don't you remember? I'm the guy who went... And no other sound effects man can make that statement. Now, Mr. Editor, I came here to ask...
Just a moment. Hello? Who's this? Hogan? I sent Riley out to track down Killer Scarpati. What happened to him? Scarpati bumped him off. Well, you get the story, Hogan. Now, what were you saying, young fellow?
Mr. Editor, I came here to ask you...
Just a minute. Hello? Who's this? Schwartz? What happened to Hogan? Scarpati got him, too? Stay on the story, Schwartz. Now, what did you say you wanted?
Mr. Editor, I came here to ask you...
Just a second. Hello? Who's this? Scarpati. What happened to Schwartz? You got him, too? Listen, Scarpati, you've killed 9 of my reporters already, but we won't give up. I'm sending another man down there right away.
Gee, do many of your reporters get bumped off by gangsters?
Dozens of them every day. Now, you came in here to ask me something.
Yes, I did.
Well, go ahead.
Mr. Editor, do you think John's other wife is really happy?
Oh, you can't fool me, my boy. You came in here to get a job as a reporter.
Reporter? Who, me?
Yes, you did, and I'm going to assign you to the Scarpati story.
Oh, no, thanks. I'd much rather be a human interest reporter and interview pretty girls.
Bah, pretty girls are a dime a dozen.
Yeah? Here, I've been using my dimes to buy ice cream sodas. Well, when do I go to work?
You start tomorrow, but remember, a newspaperman's life is dedicated to public service.
Yes, sir, and I know that service pays off in the long run. I used to be a movie usher, and every day a little old man used to come in, and I'd help him find a seat and take care of his umbrella and his overcoat. And after the show, I'd help him on his overcoat and give his umbrella and help him up the aisle. That went on every week for 5 years. And then one day, that little old man died.
Left you all his money?
Nah, he was just an old pest. But I'll get right to work, Mr. Editor. I'll be your best reporter.
Good. Of course, you have a portable typewriter.
No, sir, but I know where I can get one.
Where?
Green Bracker's department store. Hope he has a portable typewriter. Mr. Greenbacker. Oh, Mr. Greenbacker.
Oh, here I am. You would have to walk in now.
Why, were you doing something important?
Yes, I was in the back of the store lacing up my wife's corset. Must be something wrong with it.
Why?
No matter how tight I lace it, I still buzz in the front. Now, what do you want?
Mr. Greenbacker, I've got a new job.
As a vacuum cleaner would say, Eureka.
Guess what kind of a job it is, Mr. Greenbacker.
Does it fit your personality?
Perfectly.
You're a contact man for a cut-rate undertaker.
No. I got a job on a newspaper.
What are you, tug-of-war editor for Yank?
Of course not. I'm working on one of the big metropolitan papers.
Il Progresso?
Il Progresso?
Si.
That's an Italian newspaper. What made you think of that?
I always read Italian newspapers.
Why?
I've got a lot of money invested in spaghetti.
Why did you invest your money in spaghetti?
My uncle died and left me 100,000 meatballs, nosy. Now, did you come in here to buy something, or can I go back and finish touching up my hair?
Certainly I want to buy something. I want to buy a typewriter.
Have you got a priority?
No.
The rest of this transaction will be conducted in a whisper. I've got one typewriter left. It'll cost you $9.
Only $9?
Yes, the letter L was missing.
Well, how does it write?
Lousy.
I'll take it, Mr. Greenbacker. Where is it? I need a typewriter for my work as a newspaper reporter.
Oh, I hate reporters. Before my wife Emily married me, she used to go around with a very famous newspaper reporter.
Pulitzer of the World?
No.
Really? From the Star?
No.
Then who was he?
Peeling from the sun.
Well, how did it happen that Mrs. Greenbacker married you instead of him?
Well, she had to choose between him, the flashy, fast-moving guy, and me, the slow, steady plugger. The hare and the tortoise.
And she chose you.
Yes, she thought I looked cute with a shell on my back.
You've led an interesting life, Mr. Greenbacker.
You don't know the half of it. I remember one time when I was 19 years
Can I
old.
see the typewriter now?
Yeah, in a minute. I was 19 years old, as I recall it, and
You told me you had a typewriter.
I know. Anyway, I was 19 years old, and this blonde manicurist must have been at least 35. So
Mr. Greenbacker, the typewriter.
The typewriter. Instead of worrying about a typewriter, a boy of your age should be out chasing girls.
Well, I've got my career to think about.
Isn't he unappetizing? Typewriter's right here on the table.
Okay, I'll just sit down in this chair and try it out.
Don't lean back. There's an electric fan right behind you.
Don't worry, Mr. Greenbacker.
Watch out for that fan.
Please, Mr. Greenbacker, I know what I'm doing.
I'm glad. Now, do you want the typewriter?
Yes, sir. Here's your $9. Boy, I got a bargain.
Take another look at the typewriter.
Hey, you cheated me. You said this typewriter was missing only one letter, or whatever it is. Now that I look at it, there are only two letters in the whole machine, B and O. What can I do with a typewriter with the letters B and O?
Write fan mail to Lifebuoy Soap.
Oh, good day, Mr.
Good day, Mr.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's our glamorous singing star, B. Wayne, to sing for you, Amor.
Amor, amor, amor. This word so sweet that I repeat means I adore you. Amor, amor, my love. Would you deny this heart that I have placed before you? I I can't find another word with meaning so clear. My lips try to whisper sweeter things in your ear, but somehow or other nothing sounds quite so dear as this soft caressing word I know. Amor, my love. When you're away, there is no day, and nights are lonely. Amor, my love. Make life divine. Say you be mine and love me only. I can't find another word with meaning so clear. My lips try to whisper sweeter things in your ear, but somehow or other nothing sounds quite so dear as this soft caressing word I know. My love, when you're away, there is no day, and nights are lonely. Amor, my love, make life divine. Say you be mine and love me only.
Here I am with my portable typewriter, Mr. Editor. I'm all ready to go to work as a reporter.
You got here just in time, Young. I've been called away on a very important assignment. I want you to take over as editor temporarily. Here, use my desk.
Gee, thank you. What a great big desk. 10 buttons, and I got to hold up my pants with a Band-Aid. I wonder what this first button's for. No, I'll just push it. Water cooler. What's this second one? Dixie cup. Well, I'll try this last one here.
You rang for me, Chief? You rang for me, Chief?
You rang for me, Chief?
You rang for me, Chief?
Oh, yes. I did? Yes. I want to see you all, fellas. I just want to say, fellas, this is a newspaper, and, well, I guess that about winds it up, fellas.
Come on, you're supposed to be the editor. What's on your mind?
Well, it's very simple.
I know, but what's on it?
Look, if you don't think I can handle this job, just look into my eyes, buddy. Look deep into my eyes.
Okay, I'm looking into your eyes.
Blue, aren't they? Now, I want to tell you something, fellas. It's very important. It's about spies, see? In giving out news, you never know who's listening, so you've got to be careful what you say. Now, listen to me.
I beg your pardon. Where's the news about convoys?
Over on the desk. You guys listen to me. Listen and you learn how to protect vital information.
How many are they shipping?
600. You never know how important these things are, so be careful every minute.
And when are they being shipped out?
10 o'clock tonight. Now, don't...
thank you, mein Herr.
You're welcome. Now...
Heil Hitler.
Hello? Now, just follow me, fellas, and you won't go far wrong.
Hey, Young, that guy who just left, didn't he look kind of suspicious?
How could you tell? He was wearing a mask. Now, men, fellas, go out and bring back some news. I got to make some changes around here. I'm not satisfied. I want to speak to my assistant editor here.
Oh, stop! Stop!
He's in conference. Come in.
Hello, Mr. Young.
Well, if it isn't the man who writes our weather forecast. Say, how are chances for a shower?
Go ahead and take one if you need it.
That guy's become unbearable since we put mercury in his thermometer. Well, now to get some news.
Oh, Alan! Alan!
Oh, what is it, Mary Ann?
I've got an idea for your paper.
Huh?
My mother wants to write a column full of real homely philosophy.
Well, she's got the face for it.
Now,
Now, Alan, let's leave my mother's face out of this tonight.
Why tonight? Looks like it was left out too long last night. You can stay after and write that line 500 times. But that's not getting me any news. Hello, Editor Young speaking.
Mr. Young, this is Japanese soldier speaking. Americans attacking, but I am not afraid. Banzai.
What happened?
Banzai.
Oh, good. They shot him between toe and jaw. Well, I still haven't got any news, and the paper goes to press in a few minutes. Hello?
Hey, Chief. A man down here has just been murdered. What about it?
I'm innocent, I tell you, innocent. They can't pin a thing on me.
Alan, you've got to make a go at this job for my sake.
I know, Marianne. I'm doing my best, but nothing ever happens around here. Oh, come in.
I beg your pardon. I'm the ambassador from Patagonia. Do you mind if I jump out of your window?
Not at all.
Thank you.
I guess it's just because some days are quieter than others, that's all.
Pardon me. I'm the district attorney. Do you mind if I shoot myself in here?
Not at all.
Thank you. No.
This just happens to be one of those days, that's all. After all, you can't expect things to happen.
Excuse me, Editor Young. May I use your telephone?
Certainly, go right ahead.
Hello. Midwood Hospital? This is Mr. Beamish. How is my wife? What? 7? Wow! Mr. Young, my wife has just had 7 babies. This outdoes the quintuplets. What do you say about that?
You owe me a nickel for that call.
You don't understand, Mr. Young. My wife has just had 7 babies at the Midwood Hospital.
Midwood Hospital?
Yes!
That's a 10-cent call.
Young, what way is this to run a newspaper?
Well, what's the matter, Mr. Ed? Didn't I do a good job?
Certainly not. Look at the headlines the other papers in this town have. And look at the headline you put on our paper. John Schultz is a nice man. Who is John Schultz?
He's my butcher. He promised me a pound of steak if I put his name in the paper.
Young, you're fired. Do you hear me? Fired.
Milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Can't use that jive on my milk diet. So, milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Been jumping on the swing shift all night, turning out my quota. All right, now I'm beat right down to the side, and I've got to dig myself some knots. So, milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Oh, the noise of the river, I don't mind it, but the guy with the whiskers has a lot behind it. But I can't keep punching with that victory crew when you're making me punchy with that bottled blue. I wanna give my all if I'm gonna give it, but I gotta get my shot if I'm gonna riv it. So bail out Buzz with that milk barrage, 'cause it's unpatriotic, it's a sabotage. Milkman, stop that riot. But if you can't lullaby it, milkman, keep those bottles quiet. I've been jumping on the swing shift all night, turning out my quota. All right, now I'm beat. What a reach! Oh, milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Now I'm asking you politely, Kate, if you don't, you'll be in a terrible state. So, milkman, keep those bottles quiet. Milkman, won't you keep those bottles quiet? Hush.
Alan.
A beautiful night tonight, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. You're not mad at me because I got fired from that newspaper job?
No, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah. I mean as much to you as I ever did?
Of course.
Well, I guess I have the right to ask you a question.
Of course, Alan. What is it?
Mary Ann.
I'm listening, Alan.
I hope you'll say yes.
What's the question, Alan?
Mary Ann, would you like to buy a used portable typewriter? Friends, on behalf of me, Ken, Peter, myself, in fact, all of us, we want to thank you for being with us tonight.
Bristol Myers, the makers of Sal Hepatica for the smile of health, and Vitalis for well-groomed hair, present the Alan Young Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Delmar, speaking on behalf of those two old friends, Sal Hepatica and Vitalis, and welcoming you to the Alan Young Show, featuring our singing star Diane Courtney, the music of Peter Van Steeden, and our special guest tonight, Fred Waring, and starring Alan Young. Well, folks, here we are outside Alan Young's house. Alan has a beautiful home. In the summer, he has ivy climbing up the wall. But not in the winter. Ivy goes to Florida. Let's drop in on him.
Oh, hello, Kenny. Come on in. Kenny, you got here just at an historic moment. I just received a telegram from General Eisenhower thanking me for the secret weapon I sent him.
Secret weapon?
Yeah, it's a girdle 300 miles long.
Well, Alan, what did General Eisenhower do with a girdle 300 miles long?
He put it in the Belgian bulge.
Well, the General did very well without you, Alan.
Yeah.
He's closed the Nazi escape route, and Von Rundstedt is almost surrounded. I wonder what Von Rundstedt is doing right now.
He's probably standing there and singing Don't Fence Me In.
Well, General Montgomery...
What's that, kid?
General Montgomery isn't doing badly either.
Oh, sure, Montgomery is doing fine, but I wonder how he still finds time to take care of Ward. I nearly took care of that. By the way, Kenny, what are you doing here tonight?
Have you forgotten Alan?
How could I forget Alan? I've known him ever since he was a baby. Oh, you mean, have I forgotten?
Alan, tonight is the night we're having the meeting of the Alumni Association Senior Prom Committee of the Ladislaus T. Fink High School. Don't you remember? You're committee chairman again this year.
Oh, yeah, good old Ladislaus T. Fink High. Now, who else is on the prom committee besides you and me?
Well, your girlfriend Betty and Peter Van Steeden. They'll be here any moment.
Oh, gee. Do I look all right, Kenny? My hair combed, my tie straight, my shirt clean?
Yeah, you look fine. But I think the committee would like it better if you did one more thing.
What's that?
Put on a pair of pants.
Some people are so unsophisticated. I'll slip into them right now. There we are. Now so that must be the committee.
Hello, Mr. Young.
Oh, it's my girlfriend, Betty. Welcome to my humble abode, Betty. Shall I carry you across the threshold, maybe?
Why, Mr. Young, you can't carry a girl across the threshold unless you're married to her.
Oh, it's not much of an inducement, is it? Oh, well, come on in, Betty.
Hello, Betty.
Hello, Mr. Delmar.
Well, I'll leave you folks alone. I'll go in the kitchen and call up Peter Van Steeden.
Kenny, there's no phone in the kitchen.
I know. I was just trying to be subtle. I thought I'd leave you alone in the living room with Betty. Maybe you'd like to NECK. I'll see you later.
Betty, would you like to NECK?
I'd love to, Mr. Young.
Gosh, bet I'll have fun when I find out what that spells. Come on, Betty. Sit down here on the couch.
All right. There. Mr. Young, won't you come a little closer?
Is that better?
Mm-hmm. But come a little closer.
Okay. Is that any better?
Yes, Mr. Young. But I'd like you to come still closer.
Okay. There, is that close enough? Well, Betty, we're ready to plan another senior prom. Remember our senior prom? We were just two fresh kids graduating from high school.
Yes, after 4 long years.
Yeah, after 10 long years. Betty, remember that tuxedo I wore? I borrowed it from my uncle.
Uh-huh. I remember that tuxedo.
Yeah.
The right shoulder was so shiny as if something heavy had been carried on it.
Yeah, my uncle was a very busy undertaker. You know, we should...
Break it up, kids. Peter Van Steeden's coming up the porch.
Oh, Peter.
Peter Van Steeden is here. The negotiations may commence post-haste under my expert supervision and tutelage.
Peter, where do you learn such big words?
Why, everybody says I'm a walking encyclopedia.
Well, wouldn't you like to sit down and rest your index? Come on in, Peter. Well, let's start the committee meeting. As alumni, it's our job to give the high school seniors the best prom possible. And about the dance music, Peter, last year you brought your band of 18 musicians. How much did it cost?
$25.
Yeah. Okay, you're hired again.
Oh, not so fast. This year the price is $100.
Why should I pay you $100 for a band that I paid $25 for last year?
Well, during the year, some of my boys learned how to read music.
That's ridiculous. For $100, I could get Fred Waring.
Fred Waring? A fine conductor he is. Well, he can't tell the difference between a baton and Frank Sinatra.
Well, who can? I won't pay it.
All right, wise guy. If you can get Fred Waring for $100, go ahead and get him.
All right, I will. I'll call him up and make an appointment. I'll even go to New York and see Fred Waring in person.
Here's the railroad station, Alan.
Oh, thanks for the lift, Kenny. The New York train should be along in a minute. I'll see Fred Waring and call you the minute I make a deal with him.
Well, I don't think you're going to have much luck.
Don't worry, I'll get him. You want to wait till my train comes in, Kenny?
No, I'll have to get him back to my drugstore pretty soon. I can't depend on the boy I have there to know exactly what to say to customers.
I don't get you, Kenny. What do you mean exactly what to say to customers?
Well, you know, there are a lot of items you can't get at your drugstore now on account of the war. So I've got to be very tactful when I tell a customer he can't have what he wants. People are inclined to get mad and blame it on the druggist. But once you tell them the real reason for the shortage, they understand.
That's true. If there's anything I hate, it's the clerk who says we haven't got it. Don't you know there's a war going on? I could slug him.
Yeah, I know. That's why I take time to tell a customer exactly why he can't get the product he wants. Now, take Vitalis, the famous hair grooming preparation. More people come in and ask for it, and I have to tell them civilians can't buy it anymore because all the Vitalis made is going to the servicemen. And the first thing they say is, what in thunder do the soldiers want it for?
That's a reasonable question, Kenny.
I know. So I tell them. In the first place, those servicemen will want civilians. And a great many of them used Vitalis and got to depend on it to keep their hair well groomed. Now they want Vitalis more than ever because they're outdoors all the time. The hot sun in tropical climates dries their scalp. On the sea, the wind and salt spray does the same thing. And the Vitalis 60-second workout is great for loosening a tight, dry scalp, stimulating circulation, and helping to prevent excessive falling hair. That's why servicemen want Vitalis. And since Bristol-Myers can't meet both the civilian and servicemen demand, they decided that the armed forces should get all the Vitalis made. For naturally, the boys come first. Once a civilian knows those facts, he's bound to agree. Don't you think? And here is our glamorous singing star, Diane Courtney, to sing Strange Music.
Strange music in my ear. Only now, as you spoke, did it start. Strange music of the sea. Heard its lovely hum be coming from my heart. You appear, and I hear songs sublime, song that I'm incapable of. So dear, let me hold you near, while we treasure that time can never change the strange new music of love. You appear, and I hear songs sublime, songs that I'm incapable of. So dear, let me hold you near, while we treasure every measure, so that time can never change the strange new music of love.
Gee, this railroad station is cold. A New York train should be in any moment. I'll show Van Steeden whether or not I can get Fred Waring for the senior prom. That guy thinks he's a... Huh. What's that on the wall? Peanut vending machine full of salted peanuts. Nobody's around the station. I guess you have to put a penny in it. Oh, well. I'm a sport. What's a penny? One peanut for a penny. That's carrying inflation too far. Should I risk another one? What the heck? I get my allowance tomorrow. 2 pennies, 2 peanuts. This machine must be...
Excuse me, Bud. Can I get at that peanut machine?
Why, sure.
Thanks. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Guess I just don't live right, that's all. If that train doesn't hurry and get...
Papers! Get your morning news and Travis here. Paper, mister? Oh, hiya, Mr. Young.
Why, it's little David Dittenpfeffer. Hello, David.
Paper! Get your morning paper here.
What are you doing around the railroad station, David? You, selling newspapers?
No. I just landed from a submarine, and I'm going to blow up the train, nosy.
That's fine, David boy. Always keep busy, you bet. You. I'm glad to see that you're a newsboy. Some of our biggest men started out by selling newspapers in railroad stations. Now they're on Wall Street.
Do they sell more papers there?
David boy, you're as sharp as a tack. And I'd like to put you on a chair and let somebody sit on you. But the reason I have...
Achoo!
Bless you.
Thanks.
David, haven't you got a handkerchief?
Sure, but I ain't allowed to lend it.
Oh, bless your little. Now, David, I think... Oh, the train's coming. I better go outside. I don't want to miss it. I have an appointment with Fred Waring.
Think you're going to buy a paper, Mr. Young?
Buy a paper? David, you're my friend. You should give me a paper.
I'd be glad to give you a paper, Mr. Young. Here you are.
Thank you.
Now will you stop twisting my arm?
Oh, I get so excited when I have to catch a train. Goodbye, David.
Fine voyage, Sporty.
Oh, yes.
What? New York Express?
Okay, I'll get on then.
Hello there.
Well, it's my next door neighbor. Glad to see you. I haven't got time to talk. I got to get on this train.
Got up early today, son.
Yeah, that's fine. I have to get on the train.
Always get up early. Yeah. On the farm, I used to go to bed with the chickens and wake up with the chickens.
Yeah.
Darn feathers kept tickling me all night.
On a farm, eh? Did you milk many cows?
Milk cows. Snap my snuggies. I milked so many cows that I milked so many that for 10 years I used to shake hands one finger at a time.
That's very interesting.
What?
Look, I gotta get on this train. I got a date with Fred Waring.
I come down to do some work around the locomotive.
Oh, I didn't know you worked for the railroad.
I don't. I'm trying to steam open a letter.
I see. Well, the train is going to
letter to my brother. Oh. Yeah, I accidentally said something I didn't mean to say. Just slipped out.
Just slipped out when you were writing a letter?
Pen leaks.
Pen leaks. I get it.
What?
He's making a career out of that. Look, my train is leaving for New York, and
Hey, that's a coincidence. My brother lives in Chicago.
Your brother lives in Chicago. I'm going to New York.
He don't care.
What part of Chicago does your brother live in?
Denver, Colorado.
Look, I got to see Fred Waring about the senior prom. I'll be home tomorrow.
Oh, going to be away for a while, eh?
Yeah.
I was going to drop over and see you this afternoon.
Yeah, well, I'm very sorry, but I'll...
Just want to be neighborly.
Yeah, well...
I was shaving this morning. I had some lather left over. I thought you might be able to use it.
Thanks very much, but I use an electric razor. Now, I've got the...
What?
Train is pulling out. Hey, wait for me! Wait for me, hey!
That ratted chatterbox, I thought he'd never leave.
Well, this must be Fred Waring's office. His name was on the door. Fred Waring. Orchestras available for weddings, parades, cocktail parties, and basketball games. Oh, I'll go in. Pardon me, is this Fred Waring's office?
This is the office. Please look it over. This is the office. It's fine.
Pardon me, is this Fred Waring's office?
Oh, don't look so askance, Blondie. Mr. Waring insists that everything in this office be musical. Nobody talks. Mr. Waring insists that everybody sings.
Yeah, well, will you tell Mr. Waring that Alan Young is here?
Yesterday, Van Johnson was here.
Well, today, Alan Young is here.
What a difference a day makes.
Look, please tell Mr. Waring that Alan Young is here.
Oh, he's very busy now. He's preparing his next week's radio broadcast. You know, he's just moved his show to a new time. Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern Wartime on the Blue Network. But I'll ask him if he could see you.
Now, in the last number, I want more pizzicato. What do you think I got two fiddles for? Modulate the harmonic interpolations. Segue to a tonic arpeggio with a diminishing counterpoint. But I want to hear those two fiddles above the fortissimo brass and percussion.
Gee, listen to that awful language.
Mr. Waring.
That's my name. Come in, Miss Clef, and stop smoking that cigar. Shut the door. I'll be with you in a moment. Now, what were you saying, Tannhauser?
Fred, I'm your manager. And I got... Will you please pay attention while I'm talking? Stop fidgeting.
I'm not fidgeting. I'm curling my hair.
Fred, you've lost touch with the masses.
Nonsense. Why, I spend an hour every day walking down Fifth Avenue, patting little children on their heads. Sometimes I don't even wear gloves.
Well, that's all right, but
I even go over to Times Square and stand there signing autographs. Yesterday I signed 15.
Last year you signed 50.
Yes, but this year I raised the price.
Now look, Fred, what you've got to do is make more personal appearances.
Oh, Mr. Waring, there's an Alan Young waiting to see you.
Young. I'm beginning to hate that word. Alan Young? Oh, yes, he wants me to play at some high school prom. Tell him I'm not interested.
No, you don't. Now, that's just what I mean. You're going to take that job, even if they pay you as little as $100 a man.
$100 a man?
Yes. Now send in Mr. Young, Miss Clef, and I'll see you later, Fred.
You can go in now, Mr. Young.
Thank you. How do you do? Are you Fred Waring?
Yes.
Oh, I expected a much younger man, Mr. Waring. I want to tell you I've listened to you on the air, and I think you're one of the finest musicians in the country.
I know.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you something, Mr. Waring.
Please be brief. I'm always short and to the point.
You're short, but I wouldn't say you came to a point. Oh, yes. Well, I'm head of the Alumni Association Senior Prom Committee of the Ladislaus T. Fink High School.
Could anything be lower?
Yeah, well, we'd like to have your entire organization of Pennsylvanians play for our senior prom.
Well, as you know, my organization consists of 69 Pennsylvanians.
A telegram from Philadelphia Draft Board.
68. Now, how much are you prepared to pay?
$100.
$100. That's the least my agent told me to take. It's a deal.
Fine. The dance is next Saturday night in the high school gymnasium.
Okay, it's a deal, but on one condition.
What's that, Mr. Waring?
In my dressing room, there must be an electric outlet for my curling iron.
I'll arrange it, yes. Thank you, Mr. Waring. Thank you very much. I'll be seeing you. Goodbye.
Young, you forgot something.
I did, Mr. Waring?
You
what?
may get up off your knees now.
Oh, thank you. I gotta call Kenny and tell him. Laugh at me, will they? Didn't think I could get Fred Waring for $100.
Hello?
Oh, Kenny, this is Alan.
Whom?
Alan. Well, Kenny, I got Fred Waring. I certainly made you guys look sick.
That's a very bad connection. What did you say?
I said I made you look sick.
Sick? Are you sick?
I said you look sick.
You do? Oh, gee, Alan, you can't get sick now.
Kenny, you give me a headache. I said it's...
Sick and headachy.
Oh.
Well, goodness, Alan, you know what to do. Get yourself a glass of sal hepatica. You should know that whenever you feel sick and headachy due to the need of a laxative, sal hepatica is just the thing to take to help you feel better, faster. Particularly when you wake up in the morning with that feeling. For a glassful of sparkling sal hepatica taken then brings quick, gentle relief, usually within an hour. That means you can get rid of that feeling right away. You don't have to risk being miserable all day, waiting until night to take a laxative. And besides quick, gentle relief, sal hepatica gives you another advantage.
This famous saline helps sweeten an upset stomach by helping to reduce excess gastric acidity.
So always keep sal hepatica handy and take it when you need it, morning, noon, or night. Remembering this caution, use only as directed. Then see how much faster you feel better, thanks to gentle, speedy sal hepatica. It's the following Saturday night in the gymnasium of the Ladislaus T. Fink High School. The senior prom committee is making last-minute arrangements.
Oh, Mr. Delmar, where's Alan?
Why, he's out in the middle of the gymnasium dancing. He's seeing if the floor is waxed enough.
Oh, Mr. Young. Oh, Mr. Young.
I'll be right there, Betty. Well, the floor seems all right. Thanks very much for the dance. Gee, I enjoyed every minute of it. You danced divinely.
Okay. So long, Al.
So long, Joe. Betty, did you want me?
Yes, where's Mr. Waring?
He's rehearsing his choir.
Gee, Mr. Waring certainly has a wonderful organization.
Yeah.
Why, you'd know anywhere that those singers work for Fred Waring.
Yeah, he's got his name tattooed on their foreheads. Oh, here he comes now. Mr. Waring, you ready?
Yes, Mr. Young, but I've a complaint to make.
Something wrong?
Yes, this current is DC, and my curling iron is AC.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, Alan. Is the clam bake proceeding satisfactorily?
Oh, Peter, I didn't expect you, but I'm glad you're here. Peter, I want you to meet Fred Waring.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Herring.
Waring. Fred, this is Peter Van Steeden here.
I'm a leader, too.
Oh, really? Of what scout troop?
Look, I have to open the doors. The seniors are waiting.
Mr. Young, there's one thing you should know.
Yeah?
My musicians work in war plants. If they hear a factory whistle blow, they'll have to leave, even if it's in the middle of a number.
Oh, no factory whistle's going to blow, Mr. Waring. Come on, let's welcome the dancers, shall we, Fred?
Right.
If the factory whistle blows, the musicians will have to leave. This is too easy. Oh, blow, factory whistle, blow.
Mr. Waring, the dance is about to begin. May I please have a fanfare, if you don't mind? For that, I'm paying $100. Members of the senior class of the Ladislaus T. Fink High School, it's time for our prom to begin. All right, come on, children. Let's dance.
Hey, it's time for the night shift at Lockheed. Come on, fellas.
Hey, the trumpet players and the trombone players are leaving.
Hey, come on, boys. It's time to report the Sperry gyroscope.
They go the saxophones.
All hands who work at Boeing, follow me.
Mr. Waring, what's the matter with a bass violin player?
He can't get a job. He lost his birth certificate.
Well, stop it! Stop it!
I told you the boys worked in war plants and they'd leave if they heard factory whistles.
But there aren't any factories around here. I don't understand it.
Say, Alan, if you need an orchestra, my boys are waiting outside.
Now I understand it. Peter Van Steeden, you did this.
Look, Mr. Young, this is no concern of mine. I fulfilled my part of the bargain. Where's my money? I'd like to get paid.
Well, certainly, Mr. Waring. I'm very sorry. Here you are. $100.
Fine. Now, where's the other $6,700?
$6,700? But you agreed to do it for $100.
$100 per man. 68 Pennsylvanians, that's $6,800.
Cigarette? No?
Look, you made the deal. You're responsible. I'll sue you for the money, Alan Young. I'll sue you.
Well, please, keep it on. Mr. Waring, I think I can settle this. You're on the radio?
Every Thursday night on the Blue Network, 10 o'clock, Eastern War Time.
Well, who is your sponsor?
The Owens, Illinois Glass Company.
Yo, Mr. Waring, it stands to reason that if your sponsor sells more glass, you'll get more money, right? Right?
If he does sell more glass, I will get more money.
Mr. Waring, I'll pay you off the $6,800 I owe you right now.
How now?
Like this now. See that window? $10. See that window? $20. That window? $30. $45. $60. Friends, this is Alan Young again. We've all been asked to hold on to our money, to buy only what we really need. The government asked us not to spend foolishly. That'll start inflation, and if this country is hit by inflation, you can imagine what it'll do to the war. It's up to every one of us to hold those prices down. So let's all buy only what we really need, pay no more than ceiling prices when we buy, and save as much as we can through war bonds. Do that, and you'll be doing a really important job for the war and for the peace to come. Now, friends, I'd like to thank Fred Waring for being here. I hope you'll listen to his fine program over the Blue Network every Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern War Time. And now, on behalf of Diane, Ken, Peter, and myself, in fact, all of us, we want to thank you for being with us tonight. And don't forget the two products that make our Tuesdays together possible: Sal Hepatica for the smile of health and Vitalis for well-groomed hair. Sal Hepatica, Vitalis. Good night.
Hey, girls, can I have your attention, please, for just a second? This is Diane Courtney. I just thought I'd put a bug in your ear about taking care of your hands, because I know only too well what an awful beating a girl's hands take these cold days, particularly when you've got a lot of soap and water jobs to do. So here's my tip. Get the hand lotion that helps protect your hands even when they're in hot, soapy water. Get Trouché, the beforehand lotion. Smooth a little Trouchet on before you get to work, so Trouchet's beforehand protection will help guard your hands from the rough, drying effects of that hot, soapy water. You'll love Trouchet. It's smooth and creamy and fragrant, and above all, it does help keep your hands softer and lovelier. It's Trushay. Trouchet. It's wonderful.
Now hold it, folks. Stay tuned to this station, for here comes the Gracie Fields Show, starring Gracie Fields with that funny man, Fred Brady, immediately following station identification. This is the Blue Network. Bristol Myers, the makers of Sal Hepatica for the smile of health, and Vitalis for well-groomed hair, present the Alan Young Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Delmar, speaking on behalf of those two old friends, Sal Hepatica and Vitalis, and welcoming you to the Alan Young Show, featuring our singing star, Diane Courtney, the music of Peter Van Steeden, and starring Alan Young. Well, here's the street where Alan Young lives. The first house used to belong to Aunt Matilda. The second house belonged to Uncle Joe. And here's Alan's house. It used to be Uncle Tom's cabin. Well, let's drop in, shall we?
Hello, Kenny. Come on in.
Alan, I came over to...
Before you do anything, Kenny, take off your hat.
Oh, all right. My hat is off. Alan, I came
Quiet,
over...
please. Let's bow our heads and have a few moments of silence. There. Now, Kenny, I'm glad you came over.
One moment, Alan. Would you mind telling me who we were standing in silence for?
Shaky. The poor fellow. I can just see the inscription on his tombstone. Here lies Shaky, a villainous cuss. He and Dick Tracy had quite a fuss. But Tracy was strong. He wouldn't unbend. So here lies Shaky. He was frozen in the end. That thing had me worried, you know. I was sure he was going to get snowflakes.
Well, Alan, as far as snowflake is concerned, there are 60 million of them on your front walk. You'd better shovel them off.
I'm not shoveling that snow, Kenny. It's a waste of time.
Oh, how could it be a waste of time?
I'll show you. You wake up one morning, look out of the window, and the street in front of your house is covered with snow. The snow turns to sleet, the sleet turns to slush, the slush slides down the sewer and slips out to sea. The sun shines, soaks up seawater, stores it in the sky. The sky staggers under such a slew of stuff, the clouds sag, the storm starts, the snow falls, and there it is right back front of my house again. I'm going to shoot that writer.
But just the same, you'd better shovel that snow off or you're liable to get a summons.
Maybe you're right. But I haven't got my shovel. I lent it to an old fella next door. You know my neighbor? Wait here, Kenny. I'll go get it. The snow is solid. Well, the snowballs. I'll scoop some up and make one. There. Well, I'll fling it at that fence across the street. Whoop.
Ingabasto, kilapotsa snowball. Pwede potsa massacrata da Ingamona la banda vestado. Dinamata prostitutore.
Cigaretto? Gee, I thought an Italian family had moved across the street. Every Monday I see spaghetti hanging out in the line. Well, here's the old fellow's house here. Hope he's home. I need that shovel.
Hello there.
Hello there. The other day I lent you my shovel.
Well, I'm glad you dropped over, son. Just got some handkerchiefs back from the laundry. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I came over to...
Of course, when I sent them away, they was bed sheets.
That's fine.
Yeah, I used to do my own laundry. I washed my undies and lux. Got my money back.
You got your money back? Why?
Nobody asked me to dance.
Yeah. Well, I came over with my shovel.
Interesting things always happens to me. Yeah, I remember the time I invented a gasoline-less automobile. They all laughed at me, called it my folly.
Oh, did it work?
No. Darn thing blowed up. Bang, bang, bang went my folly.
That's too bad. Now, I'll lend you a shovel.
Another time I was keeping company with a gorgeous girl. Yeah, used to sit on the sofa with her. She had an hourglass figure. One night I found myself with time on my hands.
I see.
Yeah, just passing the time of day.
No, I don't mind.
Just trying to be neighborly.
That's the way to be.
I'm democratic.
Yeah, democratic.
I'm only human.
Yeah, human.
Hello! I was up New York City last week.
Yeah?
Rode in the subway. Subway's awful crowded, but you make some nice contacts.
Yeah, now I'll lend you a
snow shovel to you.
Oh, I forgot about it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, thanks very much.
I put it to good use. Some snowstorm we had, huh? Ain't seen so much snow since the blizzard of '66.
Yeah, where were you during the blizzard?
The stork was delivering me. Yeah, I remember we was flying for New York City. The blizzard was so thick the stork couldn't see a thing. He turned south and headed for Florida. I was born in Miami.
Well, what happened?
Some woman in New York was awful disappointed.
I should never have asked. Thanks for the shovel. Goodbye.
Goodbye. So long there.
Better get to work and start shoveling this snow off the...
Mr. Young! Mr. Young!
Gee, it's my girlfriend, Betty. And she's riding in Eddie Davenport's car. What did she go out with that guy for? He's so non-essential.
Mr. Young! Mr. Young!
I'm coming. Hello, Betty.
Hello, Mr. Young. You know Eddie.
Hiya, Alan.
Betty, I love to see you driving around in an automobile. But don't you get lonesome riding all by yourself?
Riding by yourself? What do I look like?
I don't know. I'm not a bacteriologist.
How do you like this car? Eddie's father gave it to him.
Yeah, for getting such good marks in college.
Eddie's got a BS, an MA, and a PhD.
Yeah. Well, he's so smart. Let's see him get an LS-MFT. Betty, would you like to help me shovel this snow off the front walk?
Well...
In our house, my father has a handyman to shovel the snow.
Naturally. He hasn't got any sons to do it.
Now, look here, Alan Young. I don't like your attitude. You're being positively obnoxious.
Why don't you go home? Your cage must be clean by now.
Mr. Young, you're acting like a ruffian. Eddie's a perfect gentleman. His whole family's in society. His mother's the toast of the 400, his sister's the toast of the debutante, and his father is the toast of the banking set.
All that toast and Eddie is a crumb.
Now, look, Young, I'm not afraid to fight you. In college, I'm an athlete. I'm the star of the basketball team.
Yeah. Even after you leave the court, you don't stop dribbling. Pretty good, huh, Betty?
Mr. Young, I'm ashamed of you. I won't stay here and listen to this any longer. By the way, Eddie.
All right, Betty.
And Mr. Young, don't you ever talk to me again.
I'm not going to let that four-eyed two-timer get away with this. I'll throw a snowball at his car. Eddie, here's a present for you.
Pinga posta! E prendo la seconda snowball! Quella fatta la prenda visora! Quinta fatta basura!
All right, I'm sorry. Everything is going wrong.
Say, Alan, what was going on out there between you and Betty and Eddie?
Kenny, dames are all alike. The minute you turn your back, they start running around with somebody else. Why, that Betty'd go out with a factory if it whistled at her.
Oh, Alan. It's your fault if Betty runs around with other guys.
It ain't my fault.
Well, how is she supposed to know how you feel about her? You never give her any hint.
Darn her socks for her.
Well, Alan, there's only one way to make sure that she doesn't go out with anyone else.
How?
Propose.
You mean married? If you'll pardon the expression.
Yes, marriage.
Well, I guess I will have to propose to Betty, but how do I go about it?
Gee, I can't be of much help to you. I've never proposed to anybody.
But, Kenny, aren't you interested in anyone?
Oh, sure.
Who?
Sal.
Sal? Sal who?
Sal Hepatica.
I should have.
Well, of course you should have. And believe me, Sal Hepatica is something to have an interest in. A Sal Hepatica is a friend indeed, particularly on those mornings when you wake up feeling sick and headachy due to the need of a laxative. For if you take a glassful of sparkling Sal Hepatica then, you'll get quick, gentle relief, usually within an hour. Well, that means you don't have to risk feeling miserable all day, waiting until night to take a laxative. You take Sal Hepatica the minute you need it. And besides quick, gentle relief, Sal Hepatica gives you another advantage.
This famous saline helps sweeten an upset stomach by helping to reduce excess gastric acidity.
So tonight or tomorrow, get a bottle of Sal Hepatica from your druggist, remembering this caution, use only as directed. Then whenever you need a laxative, morning, noon, or night, see how much faster you feel better, thanks to gentle, speedy Sal Hepatica. And here's our glamorous singing star, Diane Courtney, to sing The Night is Young and You're So Beautiful.
The night is young and you're so beautiful. There among the shadows, beautiful lady. Open your heart. The scene is set, the breezes sing of it. Can't you get into the swing of it, lady? When will you start? When the lady is visible and the evening is cool, any dream is permissible in the heart of a fool. The moon is high and you're so glamorous, and if he seems over amorous, lady, what can you do when the lady is kissable and the evening is cool and the dream is permissible in the heart of a fool? The moon is high and you're so glamorous, and if he seems over amorous, lady, what can you do? The night is young and he's in love with you.
Gee, if I'm going to propose to Betty, I'll need a ring. Buckheimer's jewelry store and buy one. Gee, isn't it wonderful? Someday Betty and I'll get married and settle down in a cottage and live happily forever, Amber. Oh. Gee, I've only got a few minutes to catch the downtown bus. Ah, here's the bus now.
Okay, step up, step up. Hey, just a second, buddy. Where are you going?
Downtown, to Clockheimer's jewelry store.
What kind of a priority do you have?
Priority? Why, I have a C priority.
Get off.
What do you mean, get off?
Everybody else on this bus has an A priority. Haven't you?
I read it, but I didn't understand it. Well, here's Clockheimer's jewelry store. I'll just go right
Why, hello, Mr. Young. I didn't expect to see you downtown.
in. It's Counselor Carton, Branch.
Yeah, it's good to see me. What are you doing looking in the window? Windows, that is, of a jewelry store.
Well, I'm thinking of buying an engagement ring.
Oh, I say you're gonna get married. Well, marriage is an extremely serious step. That's philosophy, son.
I recognized it.
Yeah, I remember one divorce case I handled. The defendant was Maisie LaRue. She was a fan dancer. I was one of her fans. Yeah. What just proceeded was a joke, son.
You can get odds on that.
Pay attention, son. Pay attention. I recollect I came into the court with my client, Miss LaRue. You know, if you listen, you'll learn, son. Yes, indeed. I say I got her into court. I say. Her husband wanted a divorce because she was a fan dancer.
Well, why?
Well, he said she waved the fan so much he was living in a perpetual draft. That there is whimsy. Too bad he didn't get it, yeah. Well, son, I got the judge to agree to let Miss LaRue do her fan dance in court, and she did it. I say she did it. Yeah. You know what the judge said when he saw a fan dance?
No, what?
Oh, there's good views tonight. You know, you're a nice boy. You shouldn't be so abstract, son. Well, son, I got to be getting back to my office. I got a big case that I'm working on.
Huh?
Seems somebody threw a snowball through my client's window.
Snowball through the window? What did the client say?
Tinga force, I say, Tinga force, he'll come out.
See, they have some very pretty... I say they have some very pretty engagement rings here in the window. That's catching. I'll go in and inquire about the rings.
What can I do for you, young man?
I'd like to see a ring. I'm getting engaged.
Oh, my girls will marry anything today, won't they?
Look, all I want is an engagement ring.
Well, we have rings to fit every pocketbook.
Well, I just want one to fit on a girl's hand.
Oh. Well, here's one. It has a 3-carat diamond. Just look at that. Look at the way it shines.
You're looking at my blue serge suit.
Oh.
That ring looks too expensive. Have you got something cheaper, maybe?
Well, here's a ring with a 1-carat diamond, $295.
That's too expensive. Have you got something a little cheaper?
Well, yes. Here's a ring that costs $8.50.
I'll take it.
But, incidentally, this ring will have to be cleaned.
Why?
It's covered with Cracker Jacks.
Well, here's the money. Will you engrave something on the inside of the ring for me?
Surely. What did you want?
Well, engrave to Betty, with all my love from Alan, the man who dreams about her every night, who longs for the day we'll be married, and I get a good-paying job, so we won't have to live with her parents. We can have our own home and settle down to having a family and living happy ever after.
Do you want that sent as a night letter? Look, do you expect me to engrave all that on the inside of a tiny little ring?
Well, isn't there enough room?
Buddy, there wouldn't be enough room to engrave that on the inside of Herman Goering's girdle.
I got the ring. I'll drop in here at Kenny's drugstore and show it to him.
Oh, hello, Alan.
Hey, Kenny. Well, I got an engagement ring for Betty. Here it is. Look at that diamond, Kenny.
Yeah, wait a second till I get my magnifying glass.
Yeah. You mean you want to find out if the diamond is cut properly?
No, I just want to find the diamond. Well, Alan, did you set the date yet?
Set the date, Kenny? I can't even get up enough nerve to propose to her.
Yeah, well, Alan, I've got an idea. You go over to Slick Slacker's radio store. They've got a recording machine there. You can make a record of your voice for $1.
Kenny, you mean I should record my proposal to Betty?
Exactly. Then you can take the record up and play it for her.
I'll do it, Kenny. But are you sure these records are good?
Oh, I'm positive. I made one yesterday. Wait a minute, I'll get it for you.
Oh, don't bother, Kenny. I believe you.
Oh, but I'll be glad to do it. Glad to. Yeah, here it is. Listen. Ladies and gentlemen, particularly gentlemen, you no doubt have discovered that you can't buy Vitalis, that famous hair grooming preparation, anymore. Well, as your druggist has probably told you, all the Vitalis made is going to the armed forces. But I would like to tell you that the minute wartime shortages ease off, Bristol Myers will do everything possible to see to it
that you civilians can once again get Vitalis. And so once again you'll be able to enjoy the advantages of the most popular hair grooming preparation in America. Advantages like the Vitalis 60-second workout, which loosens a tight, dry scalp, stimulates circulation, and helps prevent excessive falling hair. Yes, we at Bristol-Myers earnestly hope that the time won't be too far off when you can once again go into your druggist and ask for a bottle of Vitalis and get it. Please be patient until then, won't you?
Here's a place where Jane told me I could make a record. Slick Slacker's Record Shop. Excuse me, miss. I'd like to make a little...
Just a moment. I'm waiting on this gentleman. Yes, sir. What did you want to buy?
May I have 5 Bing Crosby records, please?
5 Bing Crosby records. Here you are, sir.
Stand back, please. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mr. Sinatra. Now, what do you want?
I want to propose.
Don't you think we ought to go steady for a few minutes?
No, you don't understand. I don't want to propose to you. I want to propose to a girl.
Well, who do I look like? Umbriago?
Well, look, I came in here to make a record.
There's a man ahead of you making a record. You'll have to wait a few minutes. Here, make yourself comfortable. Pull up a phonograph needle and sit down.
Yeah, well, will he be long?
Oh, no, he's just making a record to send to his wife. I think he's going to start now.
Oh, to his wife? I bet he's got a nice, sweet message for her.
Quiet.
Quiet.
My dearest, this is just to tell you that for years I've been looking at that ugly puss of yours. Your face is so wrinkled it looks like a piece of Kleenex that's been carried around for a week. I remember the day I first saw you. When you rolled your eyes, I didn't know whether you were flirting or looking back at the wagon you were pulling. And you're always picking on me. Always picking on me, but no more. I'm through. This is my declaration of independence. I'm leaving you. I'm free. Free, you hear me? Free. 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 Okay, I'm through. Where's my record?
Here you are. Shall I wrap it as a gift?
Never mind. Goodbye.
Okay, Blondie, it's your turn. Now just step up to this microphone here. Now, when the bell rings, you start talking. And when the bell stops, you stop.
Okay.
Betty?
Yeah. Dear Betty, I love you very much. I want you to marry me. You now be very happy. My whole love nest built for two. We lived together for many years, husband and wife, in a house by the side of the road. Will you please? Yeah, I hope she'll be able to hear what I said. The bell made a lot of noise, you know. Will she be able to hear the bell on the record?
No, you see, when you talk into the microphone, it goes through an insulated wire, which goes to a modified amplifier. Then it goes to a low-frequency magnetic oscillator. Then it's transformed through a multiple electrolytic rheostat, and then it's condensed in a 7-phase superheterodyne audio meter, and that kicks out the sound of a bell.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't it be more simple if you just didn't ring the bell?
Gee, we never thought of that.
Where's my record?
Here it is.
Suppose I drop it. What'll I do?
Oh, we always give 2 copies to a customer in case one breaks. Here you are.
Oh, thanks very much.
Oh, I hope she accepts him. Oh, my goodness, I made a terrible mistake. Instead of giving him 2 copies of his record, I gave him 1 copy of the record he made and 1 copy of the record the other man made. Oh, I only hope he plays the right one for his girl.
So, here it is, Betty's house. See, the Cooper Mansion. I'll just run up the front steps. Ow! I'm sorry, Mr. Cooper, I didn't see you lying there. Well, this is it. Once I cross the threshold and play this record, everything in my life will be changed. Oh, pardon me, Mr. Cooper. Is Betty home? Yes, she's in the living room. Thanks very much. There's Betty sitting over there on the couch. I'll sneak over and put my hands over her eyes and make her guess who it is. She'll know it's me. I'm the only one she goes out with. There.
Oh.
Guess who?
George?
No.
Harry?
No.
Betty?
No.
Marvin?
No.
Charles? Timothy?
No.
Peter?
No. I'll give you a hint, Betty. Here, I'll put my face close to yours like this. Now I rub my cheek against yours.
Oh, Mabel.
No, it's me, Alan.
Alan Young, I told you I never wanted to speak to you again. Now you leave this house and don't you dare come back.
Betty, you're beautiful.
Don't you dare even call me on the telephone.
Betty, you're as pretty as anything.
Don't you dare even write me a letter.
Betty, I got something important for you in this box.
Don't you dare sit down beside me on the couch and open it up and show me what it is.
Well, it's something very special, Betty. Look.
Mr. Young. It's a ring.
Engagement type.
Oh, Mr. Young, it's beautiful. Oh, look at that big yellow diamond in it.
That guy didn't wipe all the cracker jacks off it. Betty, there's a proposal that goes along with this ring.
Well, go ahead, Mr. Young. Let's hear it.
It comes to you by electrical transcription.
What do you mean?
Well, Betty, I had so many things I wanted to say to you, but I don't have the nerve to tell them to you myself, so I put them on this record. Here, let me play it for you on the phonograph. Listen very carefully.
My dearest, I've been wanting to tell you this for a long time. Betty, I want you to be my wife. Let you and I get married and settle down. I can see us together. Just you and me and a cottage and a baby and a baby and a baby and a baby
and a baby and a baby. Mr. Young!
Gee, Betty, there must be something wrong with this record, but I got another one right here. Lucky the girl gave it to me. Betty, listen closely to this, because in this record I've told you exactly how I feel about you. Let's listen, Betty.
My dearest, this is just to tell you that for years I've been looking at that ugly puss of yours. Your face is so wrinkled that it looks like a piece of Kleenex that's been carried around for weeks. That first day
Mr. Young, how dare you?
It's a mistake. I got the wrong record. Betty, you know I wouldn't do a thing like that to you. Betty, you don't understand. I want you to be my...
What? Oh, gee, Mr. Young. Well, this is a big step. I can't give you an answer. You've got to talk this over with my Uncle Joe. Nobody in our whole family ever makes a decision without talking to him. Oh, here he comes now.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk to him.
Uncle Joe, I've just asked for Betty's hand in marriage. Uncle Joe, what do you say to that? Signor Buster! From the night to Friends, this is Alan Young again. Friends, don't forget to get those dimes and dollars marching to the White House. Your money will go a long way in helping to stamp out infantile paralysis. Now, on behalf of Diane, Ken, Peter, myself, in fact, all of us, we want to thank you for being with us tonight. And don't forget the two products that make our Tuesdays together possible. Sal Hepatica for the smile of health and Vitalis for well-groomed hair. Sal Hepatica, Vitalis. Good night.
Say, girls, listen to this song. If you think walking down the aisle to that tune gets you out of hot water once and for all, lady, you are mistaken. I don't want to discourage you, mind you, but believe me, you are really getting into hot water, up to your elbows. First, there'll be dishes and undies, Then pretty soon the baby sings. And those beautiful, soft, and smooth hands he loves to hold may soon become rough and dry. So take a tip. Use Trouchet, the beforehand lotion. By putting on Trouchet before you put your hands in hot, soapy water will protect them even while they're in that hot water. Yes, Trouchet can really help protect your hands, and so help keep them softer, smoother, lovelier. Why not begin today to use Trouchet? Now hold it, folks. Stay tuned to this station, for here comes the Gracie Field Show, starring Gracie Field with that funny man, Fred Brady, immediately following station identification. This is the Blue Network.